Hello. I think I should be live now. Let's see. We've got Martin. First comment. Hello, Martin. Pia, how you doing? Willow Blue. Not so first comment. Hello, Michael. Hello, Louis. Appreciate the support. Salad Faux Girl, thank you so much. I've got 5 gift memberships from Salad Faux Girl. That is amazing. Before we've even started as well. That is awesome. Chase, how you doing? Start the show already. Why make me wait? Sorry, I have to come home from work and then have a shower and eat and all of that. VSL, how you doing? Ben, oh, why is my chat messing up already? Vegan Heretic, hello. I'm Bretta Barnes. Mary Seth. Yeah, sometimes I'll come and start a little bit early, but only a few minutes. I don't start the good stuff early anyway, but yeah, if I'm ready, then I'll come on and... Whoa, what just happened to my screen? Did it just like crash out? Because it just like... I just saw it like flash or something. I don't know if that happened in real life. Appreciate all the support. Yeah, I'm only a couple of minutes early. So I'm assuming everyone can hear me. Or is everyone just talking to each other? It just flickered. Yeah, I saw that. That was weird. Oh my God. I hope nothing messes up because I get so paranoid about that. And yeah, I'm even scared to update my streaming platform. It keeps saying that a new version's available and it wants me to update, but I'm too scared to even do that. So, hey Jake, hey Todoto. Yeah, I don't want anything to mess up. So, where are we at now? Oh, me and Willow Blue wait all week for your live. Wow, that's awesome. I didn't think it's that entertaining, so... But it's good. It's good to know that people enjoy this. So I'll keep doing them. Tuesday is Gem Day in our house. Oh, that's awesome. I'll keep doing them. For as much as people enjoy them, I shall keep doing them. Gem is the only vegan I won't troll. Hey, why are you trolling vegans? Hello, Chip. Yeah. I mean, even if like there's a vegan that you don't like, you know, like maybe they're just passionate, maybe they're just angry, you know, rightfully so. We should all be angry about what's going on, how we're being deceived and how we're constantly being programmed from the day that we're born to exploit animals. You know, it's horrible. I'm angry about it. Right, I'm gonna do... Oh, hello, Soy Daddy. Hello, Vegan Anthem. Oh yeah, can you see this on my face, by the way? I got assaulted by a duck, which is why I have this going on. For some reason, on my streaming software, I always look like a tomato. My face is always like bright red. This is not my real facial colour. What happened to your face? Yeah, I got assaulted by a duck. Hello, Vegan Fellick. A nice duck, though. Yeah, a little duck kiss. Yeah, no, me and him are usually good friends, but sometimes he gets a bit territorial. So, you know, I can't really blame him if I'm coming into his space. He doesn't want me there, but you know, what can I say? I have to come in because I'm feeding him, and you know, I want to make sure that he's got a, you know, nice space that he's going to enjoy. So, you know, I have to go in there. Oh, I can change the face colour in settings. Oh, do I really want to mess around with this right now? It makes me nervous messing around with stuff. Appearance. Yeah, it's not on TikTok. On TikTok, I've got my usual facial colour, but for some reason on OBS, which is streaming to YouTube, my face is always red. Like people must think I'm like constantly embarrassed or something. Yeah, I I don't I don't know if I want to mess around with it, to be honest. I've been a farmer my whole life, but I'd still never talk shit to a vegan. Stocks Family Farm. Well, why don't you come on and we'll have a conversation about it? You know, I'm here to have nice, friendly conversations. Just ask people questions, find out more about their views and stuff. See if we've got any common grounds. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to be a dick. Although some people said on my I made a short from my last live stream, and I had a few comments saying that I was abrasive because I interrupted. But like, you have to interrupt if somebody's changing the topic. Like if you ask a question and they're not answering it, of course you have to interrupt. Otherwise, you're gonna it's gonna like they're gonna gish gallop and go, you know, change the topic, and you know we're gonna not get to the bottom of what I'm trying to ask them. Yeah, Ben, by a duck, Peter. I'll call him Peter Packer. Yeah, where I work, there's a lot of animals, and yeah, when I go there, he always comes waddling over to greet me, and he normally does this thing where he like nuzzles his beak all over me, and it tickles, and I'm usually like, "Oh, Peter, stop it!" And but yeah, he like VSL said, he give me a duck kiss on my face. So yeah, assault by duck must be the most vegan injury ever. Yeah, I feel honoured to have that. Where are we at? Oh, for some reason my comments keep bacon for breakfast. Why don't you come and we'll have a chat about it? I don't know what you're trying to achieve by your comment. I had cereal for breakfast. Okay, what's your point? My days of getting bit are over. I mean, I wouldn't say that. You never know. You never know. If you're going out on the street, I don't know, a seagull could swoop down and bite you. Try being attacked by a rainbow lockheed. I don't. What is that? What is that animal? I don't know. I need to Google it. I feel dumb now. Loikwet. Ooh. Oh, see, that's why I don't know. Because they're Australian. Maybe put some concealer on. It looks like you're in a fight. I don't mind. Yeah. No, I'm ready for bed, so I'm not putting makeup on. I'll have to just wash it off after. I can't be bothered with that. I like to get straight into bed after. He'll make you want to eat him. Who, Peter? Peter's my friend. Oh, I don't eat my friends. Even if I don't know them personally, that's okay. Like, that's okay. It's just protecting his territory. How am I supposed to be vegan when my cat requires meat? I mean, I don't know much about cat diets because I don't have a cat, but I don't think they do require meat. I think they require nutrients. So that is vegan cat food available. I mean, to my knowledge, as long as it's fortified with creatine, or is it something else? I don't know. It has to be fortified with something. Then that, yeah, they don't require meat. Peter Pan. Yeah, let's talk about it then. What I'll do when I go live, I'll pop the link in. I wonder if Farmers Inc. will line up. Yeah, we'll see. We will see. Yeah. Oh my god, I keep missing comments because it keeps refreshing. Comment section is busy. Peter Pecker. Yeah. TikTok is a nightmare of debate, bros. Yeah, there's quite a lot of them, but it's good because I think I like the style where it's like, you know, fast paced. You can just get rid of them and move on quite quick. If there are trolls, and you do come across some genuine people, and also, you know, trolls do make it more entertaining and interesting. And if they're saying rubbish comments, there's always genuine people who are listening as well. Someone once told me that plants are conscious because they move in the wind. Damn, my piece of paper moves in the wind too. That must be conscious. Right. There's a few attention seekers as well in here. Hey David, how you doing? Peter Pan desperate for attention. Okay. Busy comment section is good because we want to attract people to this stream. So wow, a lot of views already. Hey VPM. Okay, right. Yeah, Peter Pan, if you start spamming, you will get timed out. So yeah, if anyone's mods, just keep an eye on that guy. If he keeps spamming, then just put him on a timeout. But yeah, I'm not too bothered with people just saying like, oh, chicken wings, like whatever. It's just a poor comment. There's just no argument. But yeah, if he starts spamming, just put him in a timeout. But other than that, I mean, I don't really expect much of mods, I always say. So yeah, just there's a few of you anyway. So it's just if somebody says something like outrageous, then obviously delete the comment. If it's like, you know, hate speech and stuff, just delete it. Yeah, I've seen a few comments from him, but it doesn't look like he's spamming. When I say spamming, I mean like one comment after the other. So yeah. I don't mind emojis either. So yeah, he's all right. I just mean if it's like constant and it's distracting the chat, and it's hard to read other comments and stuff. So yeah, that's all I mean. Let's see. So, oh, we haven't done a sound check. I feel like I have to do one, otherwise it's going to be bad luck. Shit, I'll do one real quick because I've been yapping. Let's do my last one.
Humans, as is nature, are omnivores.
Okay. You guys all heard that? What does that mean?
So an omnivore is a creature.
And hopefully my sound is about the same kind of volume as it. Oh, that's my For You page. Right, sorry. Let's see. You guys are seeing exactly what I see. Ah, my background's gone. Right, okay. Just so no embarrassing pictures come up. I took some pictures of my face when I got bitten, which I don't want people to see. I can move this. Hang on. Where is it? It's weird. Sometimes it's there and sometimes it isn't. Right, we're back. Ah, my pictures are there. Oh my days! Yeah, this way is not so good with like privacy, but yeah, if you're doing it this way, you have to mute all your notifications and stuff. Not that I've got anything to hide or anything. It's just, you know, I like my privacy a little bit. Right, what else? I need to check sound. Yes, we can hear. Good. Oh, we've got even more people here now. Peter, why don't you come and talk to me? You were bitten only because you're vegan. No, show us your selfies. No. Yeah, that's fine, Axel. Yeah, appreciate it. Right. So I'm going live, and I'm just going to get the link. So TikTok. Yeah, I'll see. I usually explain how I usually do the panels and stuff, but I don't always need to if it's like the same people. Right, copy. Peter is actually Peter the Duck. No, no, Peter the Duck is spelt differently, so that's not him. And also, yeah, it's spelt Peter like, you know, like from Hunger Games. And Peter the Duck is not a dick. I love Peter the Duck. Even though he bit me, I still love him. Right, so join the live. Join the live here. I'm just going to pop the link so people know where to go. No is PEETA. Right, pin message. Okay, cool. I think we're ready to go. So yeah, for anybody who's just joined on TikTok, I'm basically here to have conversations with people. I'm not here to argue. I'm not here to be a dickhead or anything. Yeah, I'm here for honest conversations with people. I want to find out a little bit more about your values, what your belief system is, and if we have any common ground, basically. So, yeah, the premise of this is just to ask some questions, find out a little bit more about you, your values, and find out if you should be vegan. The answer to this question here. Yeah. I'm neon red on YouTube. Yeah, I don't know why it does that to my face. Like, it just makes me look really embarrassed all the time. So it's kind of annoying. So let's see. I've got Chip and David requested. Hey, Chip.
Hello.
How you doing?
Hello.
Hey, David.
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you very much. Have you had a good week?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been good.
Awesome. Yeah, so you guys both know, I think it worked quite well yesterday. You both know how I tend to do it, and yeah, kind of go through some questions, and then once I've had enough, I usually open it up to you if you're happy with that again.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Awesome.
So yeah, should we get going? We've got one request so far.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, we've got Red Bull. Hey Red Bull, are you over 18?
Let's
Red
have
Bull?
meat. Meat is good. Let's have meat.
Okay.
Meat is good. Let's have meat. Meat is
That's so embarrassing. um yeah, so guys, I'm here for yeah, just honest conversations, you know, it's kind of cringe. You know, if you're just coming up to say stuff like that, kind of it kind of says to me that you don't really have an argument. Maybe, yeah, bit cringe. Yeah, we'll keep going. Kaplan.
Hello?
Hey Kaplan, are you over 18?
Pardon me?
Are you over 18?
What did you say?
Are you over 18?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
I said yes. Yeah.
Sorry, there might be a little bit of a delay.
Yeah, I think there is a delay. I apologize.
No, that's okay. We'll carry on, and if it becomes a problem, maybe we'll try and I'll drop you and try and get you back up again. But hopefully, it won't be.
Wait,
An
is this
issue.
better?
I don't know. It's difficult to say, but we'll try. The delay is just for me, apparently. Okay, let's yeah, we'll just carry on. So how do you feel about animals?
I mean, they're good and they're used for good causes,
Okay.
you know?
How do you feel about animal exploitation?
I honestly disagree with that, but if I were going out in the woods, I would hunt an animal and eat it, but I would never put them in, factories and all that. I feel like that is in the wrong.
Okay. So when I'm saying animal exploitation, I'm referring to using animals in a way that goes against their interests. So using them for our own selfish purposes. So not necessarily using them in factories. It might be, in your own backyard. I just mean like using them for their bodies that's not in their interest, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So
Um,
do you still disagree with it, or do you agree with that?
so like you mean like farming, like, keeping them against their like will? Is that what
Yeah,
you're trying to say?
yeah. So I mean, again, not necessarily. It's just using them in any kind of way that's not in their interests. So for our own selfish purposes, it could be for food, clothing, entertainment. So where we have an alternative and we don't have to do it.
So you put animals above yourself is what you're saying.
No, I don't put I wouldn't put their lives above mine.
Correct.
Yeah, so like if somebody had a gun and it was a choice, I'll put my life above another
Mm-hmm.
human's. Oh crap, I'm not supposed to say
Mm-hmm.
that on TikTok. I mean, if somebody had a pew pew, so I need to get used to TikTok language. Yeah, I put my life above a certain human's life as well. But I mean, you're considering what their interests are, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, how do you feel about exploitation in that sense?
Everything is subjective. Every moral is subjective.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I feel that my own interests are more important than the animals, okay? And that's because we are more consciousness and everything. But yeah, I just feel, you know,
Okay.
my things are better than his or hers or whatever. But okay, so
Okay.
why are you vegan though? Why are you vegan?
Because I want to respect other animals, and I don't think that we should exploit them. Do you not
So
agree that?
do you wait, sorry. Do you agree with like just hunting an animal? Like let's say you're in the woods or something and you were hungry. Would you
No.
resort to plants or would you hunt an animal or is that uh quote unquote exploitation or whatever you call it.
No, I wouldn't hunt an animal. I would just eat a plant instead.
But okay, but
And
what if
yeah,
it's
I would.
necessary for the human body though? You know your brain is like, you know, it's made from animal fat. You need animal fat to proper hormonal functioning and everything.
Well, what's the evidence
Muscle
for
building.
that?
What?
What's the evidence for that? You're making a claim now. So you're saying that we need to consume animals for our brain or muscles or whatever.
Yes, of course.
Okay.
And the
So
evidence,
do you have
if
evidence to back this up?
look it up. Look up how much
Yeah,
your brain is made
I
of
have.
fat.
I have, and there's no evidence that shows that we need to consume other animals
miss.
for our
The evidence
muscles
is
or
how
brain.
you feel. There, you don't have to listen to people to have evidence. Because if you think of it, every animal listens to their body. If your body feels good, you're gonna keep doing it. If your body doesn't feel good,
What?
it's not
Well,
gonna
then
do it. You don't feel good on plants.
You
That's how
also
it works.
feel
Your
good
body.
on heroin, dude. Like, come on.
Hey,
Okay.
bro, I'm
Let's
talking about naturally occurring stuff in nature, obviously,
yeah, yeah, like
and stuff.
like certain drugs that are bad for us. Oh crap! I don't think I'm supposed to say
That's
that
not
either.
naturally occurring. You wouldn't find that if you were a caveman.
Yeah, it is.
But what I'm saying is, okay.
Kaplan.
So do you not believe in defense chemicals in plants?
Yeah.
So what makes you
Yes.
think that's not affecting your body in a harmful manner?
Sorry, I don't understand your question. What makes me think that what's not
Like, you know how there's
damaging my body?
defense compounds in plants?
In which plants?
Just any, you know, spinach,
Yeah,
just
so
any plant
again,
mostly.
if you're making the claim that it's dangerous to consume certain plants because of said defense mechanisms, then
No,
you're
no, no,
gonna
no, no,
have to
no, no, no.
provide
I didn't
evidence for that as
claim.
well.
I did not
Okay.
claim it was dangerous. I claimed that there's defensive compounds in it. I'm asking you, are
Okay.
you aware of that?
No, I think when you say defensive compounds, I thought you were referring to like certain reactions and stuff that or like chemicals that plants emit. I thought
Yes,
you were talking
because
about
what makes you
ethically.
think what makes you think a plant is just like every other living organism on the planet? They want to survive and reproduce. So what makes you think? So if you're
They
a
don't want
vegan,
it.
what
Yeah, so
they want to reproduce like every other living organism.
yeah, so first of all, plants are not sentient, and second of all, plants actually do reproduce by being eaten because, I mean, not in all cases. Sometimes,
But that's
they
exploitation. That's
sometimes there's
exploitation, though.
yeah, we're talking about the exploitation of sentient beings. So Kaplan, I want to go back to what you said about you made the claim that your wants are more important than other animals.
Yes.
So I wanted to ask, what if somebody else said that their interests were more important than yours? Would they be justified to then exploit you?
That's different. I'm a human being.
So they might see you in the same way that you view other animals. They might say, so what, are you American?
Yeah.
So they might view Americans in the same way that you view other species. They might say, well, you know, he's American, therefore my moral system says that I can exploit him, and his life doesn't matter as much as British people or Europeans.
Well, those people
So
are just, you know, stupid. Because you
it's the
shouldn't.
same,
You shouldn't.
bro. It's the same
Well,
kind of
no,
logic
it's
that you're
miss,
using.
miss. We
Yeah, that's your
have a
logic.
we are very, you know, better species than an animal. We've evolved to the point where we don't have to care for. Well, we have to. I care about animals, yeah, but I'm not gonna stop eating animals because, you know, they feel bad about it. You know, it's just a
I
quick
care
thing.
about
They're gone.
animals, but I'm not gonna stop exploiting them.
Of
See
course,
that?
I'm not exploiting
Yeah.
them though. How is
I
that me?
care about you, but I'm not going to stop sending you to a
That's different.
slaughterhouse.
We're
What
the
do you
same
mean?
species. Every species, the same species should share love together. You
Yeah,
don't like
so
other species in nature. You
yeah.
do what you gotta do and survive.
Well, what about all animals? Should we not share love for all sentient beings? Like, why are you putting like this, I don't know, let's say this, your circle of compassion is just for human beings. Why do you not extend it to sentient beings, which also includes other species as well? It's the same kind of
I
logic that, hang on a minute, it's the same kind of logic as somebody saying, I'm going to only show compassion for my race, and then for other humans, they're not in my circle. It's completely arbitrary.
hmm Well, I never said I don't care. I told you before I disagree with them being in factories, but if I were out in nature, I have to do what I have to do to survive for optimal hormonal levels and to survive. That's it.
Do you think so? Okay, let's say, for example, I'm going to pose you with a hypothetical. So let's say you were
Okay.
bitten by an insect today, and that insect made you allergic to all forms of animal exploitation. So you couldn't physically digest other animal products. You couldn't like function in that way at all.
Right.
What would happen in that situation? Would you still be able
Like
to
you're, you're
find a way to
saying I would
thrive,
not be able to
survive?
consume you're saying you
Mm,
I would not be able to like consume any animal products without getting severely sick or something?
correct. Yeah.
Or okay. Honestly, I can't say it on here, but I would, I would yeah, I'm not going to say it cuz it would be pretty bad on here, I think, but I'd hit
Well,
the
I'm just
rope.
curious. Oh, wait. So you wouldn't? So you'd unalive yourself? You wouldn't like? Nothing would happen to you. You would
Yeah, I'd have to live off medication. I do not enjoy the taste of plants.
What medication
Yeah.
would you have to live off?
You gotta supplement stuff.
Right.
You
Okay.
see
So it's
vegan
yeah.
supplement a lot of
Supplements.
vitamins
Which ones?
like vitamin C, iron, I don't know, a lot though.
Okay. So
They're mostly
where do you get?
deficient in iron because you can only consume I'm pretty sure you can only consume up to like 14% of iron in plants.
Where
And
so
I've seen that.
where do you get that from?
Oh
Where
God.
do you get this information from?
Wait, pardon me, Chip? What do you say?
Chip's a
Just said, bro,
nutritionist, so
I'm a
yeah, Chip, if you want to go ahead, and because you're a nutritionist. So.
yeah, I mean, all of this is just plain nonsense. You're just spewing the most what people have heard somewhere, and you're just regurgitating the same thing you've heard. You didn't even bother to look it up. The
Well,
anti-nutrients BS. Like, do you even know? Like you mentioned spinach. Spinach has oxalates. Oxalates
yeah,
are not
oxalates,
dangerous
those
for you.
bind. Those
Yeah, do
bind
you?
to
Yeah, what do they bind to?
uh calcium crystals or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, so just don't eat spinach alongside things that have calcium. That's it. Problem solved.
Well, okay, but what do you feel good on a vegan diet? Do you look your
Yeah,
best?
yeah,
Is
I
your
do feel
hair?
good, but you know, feeling good is not an indication on whether you're healthy or not. I hope you
Yes,
understand
it
that.
is, man.
Well, let me explain it to you easily. People with heart disease feel good up until the point when they have a heart attack and then they realize that they shouldn't.
Wait,
So
so
it doesn't really matter.
I have a question for you. What do you think what do you think that causes heart disease?
What causes heart disease?
Yeah, and
Elevated
you're
ApoB. That's a good indication. If you have elevated ApoB, that's a good indication of heart disease.
so you're saying red meat causes heart disease.
I said elevated ApoB. When did I say red meat?
Well, I was just asking you because you guys are vegan.
Yeah, I'm vegan because we respect animals.
But why do you put them above yourself?
We don't put them above ourselves. Just because somebody is below me doesn't mean I have the right to unalive them. How is it that you don't understand that?
Why not? I mean,
Well, why
it's
not? You're
necessary.
below. Honestly, Cap Bomb, you matter way less to me than any single person that I know. You are a stranger to me. I don't know who you are. You matter as little to me as any single individual that I met on the street and didn't even bother to look at their face. Does that mean I have the right to unalive you for a product that I want, not need?
But you don't need to eat me though.
You don't need to eat any animal products. We have empirical evidence showing that you can thrive on a plant-based diet. And that would be my one question that I have. Do you trust nutritional science?
No.
You don't trust nutritional science. Do you trust any form of science?
No, I really don't. I listen to what my body likes and feels.
Okay, what shape is the earth?
I don't trust it, man.
What shape is the earth?
Round? That's what they say, of course.
Okay, so you're a flat earther. Okay, never mind. If you don't trust science, it's very difficult to have a conversation because you don't trust. I'm
Okay.
curious, Kaplan. How do you get the information what is healthy and what isn't healthy if you don't trust science?
I listen to what my body wants, and my body craves animal fat.
Sure, but how do
And
you
it's a
then
very
justify? Because if you take like any form of take for instance schmeroin, if you take schmeroin, and I hope you understand what I
narrow.
mean, your body will
Okay.
start craving it after that. Does that mean it's healthy? If you put one of those sticks that you burn them on one end and then inhale, your
Yeah,
body
yeah.
will crave them after a while. Does that mean that nicotine is healthy for you?
No, but it's different. I'm talking about stuff that's naturally occurring in nature. Those things are chemically made.
Yeah, nicotine is naturally occurring in nature. Yeah.
But they
Cigarettes
add
are the most natural thing
they
in
add
the world.
tons of crap into it.
Nope. You can literally buy tobacco without anything in there.
And I've seen how WD, the green stuff, makes you. It literally fries your brain. You're like a zombie after that. After you do that for a certain amount of
Yeah. So
time,
Kaplan,
you
what
become
exactly?
what?
Yeah. So you're committing the appeal to nature fallacy, which is a logical fallacy where you tend to assume that because something is natural, it means it's good. It's not. Apple seeds have cyanide in them. They're natural. They're not good for you. They're like
No, apples
schmancer
are man-made, my brother.
Nancer, you know that disease called Nancer? It is natural and it's occurring in your body. A lot of diseases that occur in our body are natural. Genetic diseases are natural. There are several things that are natural that aren't good for you. Just claiming that something is good because it's natural doesn't make it good. But
But
I'm just curious.
yeah,
What do you assign? Like, because you said you go based on feeling. So,
right.
have you met somebody with heart disease? Because again, somebody who has heart disease, who before they have their first stroke or their first heart attack, they feel very good a lot of the times. So they only feel bad the day before or the day that it's happening. So
And
how do you manage
wait,
that?
how do you know they feel well though? Did they like say they feel well or?
Yeah. First of all, I've had several family members who have gone through that. Second of all, you can look it up online and see that the indication is that. That's also why they're called silent killers a lot of the times, because you don't know the issue until it becomes a very important issue, and then it's most of the times not reversible, because plaque that's built up on the veins is not really reversible. You can at best maintain it. So I'm curious, how do you deal with that? Because you have no nerve terminations in your veins, so you don't know when plaque builds up. So how exactly would you know if you feel good or bad? You wouldn't know up until it blocks it, and then you get a issue.
An issue? Well, health indications.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
mean, there's health indicators like, for example, if you have eye bags, that's an health indicator.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Eye
it
bags is
is.
not a health indicator.
Eye bags can be a bone
It can be,
development
but it
issue,
isn't.
and it can be a health indication that you're unhealthy.
Yeah, so I'm not really interested in debating anything like this with you, because you don't trust science. So anything that you mentioned right now would be coming from what? From how you feel, or because you don't seem to be trusting any form of science. So why
Okay,
exactly
wait,
should I
wait.
trust anything you say?
Why do you trust science? I want to hear that first.
Why do I trust science? Because science is a process through which we form hypotheses, test them, and try to make them predictable and repeatable.
Okay.
So that's only logical that I trust science, because that's literally what the point of science is making hypotheses essentially trustworthy.
And Miss, do you think it's wrong that an animal eats another animal, or is that quote unquote exploitation? Do you think they feel bad? Do you think they feel bad for you? They have absurd amount of hormones, and they would eat you if they really wanted to. So, if anything, you're
Yeah, so I
just
think that
that's just one
they
sided.
are in a Kaplan. So first of all, we can't hold other animals to the same standards as we do each other, because they're not moral agents like us, they're moral patients. And also they're in a different situation, so they're surviving in the wild. So, but anyway, I think we're going to move on. Yeah, I just want to point out that, you know, I know that you deny science. It seems like you kind of
Alright,
make
before we
decisions
do,
using.
shit.
Hang on a minute. No. Sorry, I'll just let me finish. Yeah, so it seems like you're making decisions based on emotions, what your body is telling you, which, you know, to me, it's not much difference from somebody saying, you know, my body wants me to go and have I don't know how to say this on TikTok, sexual intercourse. So therefore I'm going to go and grape someone. Like, just because your body's telling you to do something doesn't give you the right to violate someone else's body, right? I just wanted to say that. But Chip or David, do you want to say anything before we move on?
I have a question for him real quick before we
I was
move
just
on.
gonna say, can I jump in, Cap?
Yeah, of course.
So a lot of the things that you mentioned, like you were just kind of going by your feels, right?
Mhm.
You also mentioned like that we can just do whatever we want because we feel like it, right? Is
Mhm.
that so? Like, what if like roles were reversed and some other life form came down and they were going to decide whatever they want to do, uh you know, similar things that we do to the non-human animals here, what would
Like
you
an
do?
alien or something
Yeah,
is
yeah, like
what
if
you're
they
trying to
didn't
imply?
have to, but like what would you do? Would you want somebody to stop? Would you want them to stop, or would you just accept your fate and be like, okay?
I mean, obviously, no one wants to be hurt by someone else, but
Yeah,
that's just
yeah.
natural selection.
And you would agree that animals can feel pain, they're sentient, they want to live?
Yes, of course. Every animal wants to live and reproduce, as I said earlier.
So if you're open-minded enough, why wouldn't you look into it and listen to a few vegans on the panel? I mean, I've been vegan for 12 years. I've seen nothing but health improvements. That's not why I'm vegan. I'm vegan because I used to work in the industry and I saw what people pay for and what they do to innocent animals.
Well, when I really tried it for like maybe a few weeks. My stomach, I was always bloated. I had this bloat. My under eyes were terrible. I just did not feel good.
Like, would you admit that you probably just didn't do things right then?
Do things right in terms of what? My diet?
Yeah.
Like
Is that a possibility? Is that
what's
a
right
possibility?
though? I mean, I ate fruits and plants.
Yeah, so that might be the problem then.
How is that a problem?
Well,
What did you eat
because
for protein, for example?
Nothing, because you can't get protein from plants.
Okay, so you didn't. So the thing about it is, David was right on the money that you don't know how to adopt a plant-based diet. I assume you can at least be honest enough to understand that you can be healthy on a plant-based diet as well as you can be healthy on a animal-based diet. You can be healthy on both. It's just that what we're well, it's debatable, but you can definitely be healthy on a plant-based diet. That's what we can agree. And just because you didn't get any source of protein, you probably ate too much fiber, you got bloated, and you probably didn't eat enough. It just sounds like you underate and overate fiber all at once. So all those symptoms are just indications of that. So obviously you didn't do it right. So that must
But
mean it's not working, right?
but it's like it's not good when you really have to like try, Because
No,
if
it's
I
not
go out
true.
in nature, I can just get an animal. I don't have to sort things out like a schedule. I just get to
What
eat
what do you
and be
mean by
done.
nature though? What's nature? None of the animals you eat are natural. All of them are genetically engineered. Most of them are factory farmed, especially in the
Well,
US.
I go to a butcher actually.
Yeah, so what does that mean?
It's a grass-fed, healthy
A
animal.
grass-fed healthy animal. They're
David,
still genetically
if they're
engineered.
fed grass, it's okay to. Yeah, but if they're fed grass, it's okay to unalive them, David. Don't you know that? Like
Yeah.
if you're if
Like
you're fed something that we think it's okay for you,
and that's
that
the other
doesn't even matter
point.
if you
It's
want
like
it or not.
Cows
if
can
you can
digest that.
if you know you can be healthy and fine on a plant-based diet, then what does it matter what the other alternative is? Why wouldn't you just be kind to animals and leave them off your plate?
Well, because I just feel good eating animals. My testosterone's over
But
8, no,
you've never
750.
even attempted to eat a plant-based diet. You say that you ate plants and you didn't eat protein. That's not trying. Like, don't you think that they value their life a little bit more than you, like eating a few plants and saying, "Oh, it's a little inconvenient." Like, it's just a little bit of freaking inconvenience, dude.
A little inconvenient.
Yeah, do you
Nah.
have dogs, by the way?
Yeah, of course.
So what if the dogs were the only animal that you could eat? Would you eat them?
That's a pet, man. Come on.
What do you mean? So now you're defining by pet? Some people have pigs as pet or a cow.
People have cows as pets.
Of course.
Oh, in their household.
Bro, come on. There are people that have pets that are pigs, that are cows, that are turkeys, that are chickens,
Oh, like horses and stuff. Then
all
like
sorts of animals. But that's besides the point. Like imagine people had the same attitude like in China that they do at these dog markets and they're just killing dogs and eating dogs. Wouldn't you be devastated by seeing that?
yeah, that's pretty effed up. I'll admit, but
Well, then there you go. It's no different. These animals are no different than that dog. No different whatsoever, man. And I think like it takes maturity and it takes someone taking accountability to look into these things because they should be held morally accountable. Imagine if you were in their position.
but once again, morals are subjective.
Who gives a shit?
So, like for
Well,
example,
just
I
because
could
you heard
think,
someone say morals are subjective, all of a sudden, if you're the victim, it would be objective, but for them, it would be subjective. Like, who gives a shit about that? That's meta.
yeah.
Anyways, I'm done. But I just thought I would throw that in there. Be open-minded, man. All of us can make mistakes. All of us can think these things. But then you see a nutritionist on the panel. I don't know how many vegans, 20, 30, 50 years, born vegan. It's not a big deal.
You were born vegan?
No, I know people that were born vegan.
Oh.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I don't. It was nice talking to y'all, but I don't think I'll change. I'm feeling really good, and I'm a developing person, you know.
yeah, see, I don't know what that has to do with anything. We can still
Because during
develop.
development, okay. Wait, hold on. So, well, actually, no,
No, that's
nah.
not
Okay.
true. We have data showing that that's not true. Let's just move on.
Yeah,
Take a look at Chip's profile. See if he developed.
yeah.
Which,
So
what does he have, like muscle or something? Is that what you're referring to as developed?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sorry, he's
sure.
jacked and healthy. But anyways,
Well,
sorry,
to
John.
be honest, muscle doesn't correlate to health. I'll be honest.
No, but you
with
can't you can't build muscle without protein, and obviously I did build
Well,
muscle on a
well,
plant-based diet,
well,
so
brother,
therefore I must have
protein
gotten the
doesn't mean
protein
you're healthy.
somehow. So you've already debunked your previous statement that you can't get protein on
Testosterone levels, though.
Let's just
Okay,
move
we're
on.
gonna move
My
on.
testosterone
Yeah.
levels are very high because I have naturally high testosterone.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate you coming up, but it kind of does seem like you're not open-minded in terms of change, and it kind of seems like, or even not just changing, or even like listening to the facts, the science, listening to other kind of ways of thinking. It just seems like you're trying to defend your position, and when people get in that defensive kind of mode, yeah, they're it's hard to have that kind of conversation. But yeah, I just wanted to say also thank you to Marcos, who has kindly donated €20, I believe. Yes, you are awesome. Really, really appreciate it. Yeah, it all goes to all the work that I do in terms of promoting veganism. So yeah, appreciate that. But let's move on. Salil. Hey Salil, are you over 18?
Hello, yeah, I'm gonna be 45 next month.
Oh, awesome. Is that how you say your name, by the way? Salil.
It's Soleil, the L
Soleil.
silent.
Okay, so
Yeah, how are you guys?
yeah, good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. I just I respectfully admired your decision, especially for animal rights and our earth. I think it is one of the best ways to be for those reasons alone. But also being raised by an NMD and a naturalist, I have a different perspective just through their teaching and schooling and that way of life, being in it full throttle.
Yeah,
And I
let's,
just wanted to kind of put it out there because veganism sometimes can come off as harsh to people that don't practice it. But I do, again, support your decision to do that for earth
Yeah.
reasons and animals alone.
Okay, so let's explore like your moral values, or like what your stance is. So how do you feel about animals?
I love them. It's
Love them.
part of my spirituality, you know, like
Okay.
a lot of people praise a deity, and for me, it's just the earth and all of the creatures belonging to it. So it's very important to me.
So how do you feel about animal exploitation? And when I say exploitation, I mean using animals in a way that's not in their interest, so for our own selfish purposes.
I think it's awful. It's hurtful.
Awful. Okay, so would you agree that we should respect other animals?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. And do you think that it's truly possible to respect them if we are exploiting them for their flesh, eggs, breast milk, or using them for any other purpose?
No, I mean, I don't know. There's a fine line. Like I said, I was raised very differently. You know, I was breastfed for over 2 years, and then they switched over to goat's milk. I think that you have to look into how things are processed and produced and consumed and all of that within reason. Again, it's just a very tricky subject, because with how I do value the earth and animals, that's the part of it that would make me want to be vegan for sure. Like that
Okay.
alone.
So do you think that it could ever, so sorry, I'm just a bit confused by your answer, because you said no, you don't think it is, but then you said it depends, and it doesn't seem like it's like a yes or a no. Your answer to
Yeah,
that.
it's just so tricky because I don't know. It's hard. I think at the end of the day, I would love to be vegan just for animal rights in our earth, because it's just so unhealthy and unfair for animals and our earth. It is killing our earth. But when it comes to the human body, you there are in fact proteins you can't find in plants, and there's more research with that, and you have to put into your body what it needs the most to function, like pure water first and foremost, then
Okay.
protein to make sure that your brain is active and functional, and
Okay.
there's not
Which
actin,
amino?
there's not myosin
I
in plants, and
I'm
that's
sorry.
just factual.
Which amino acids you can't find in plants, and that are essential exactly?
Oh, Salel,
Oh,
you've either gone off the app
yeah.
or
She had to pop out to look at ChatGPT or something.
yeah. I'll give you a minute to see if you do come back. Otherwise, we'll move on, because obviously there's other people waiting.
Hit
Okay.
like, hit
Sorry, Jim. I just
subscribe.
That's okay. No, it's
My
fine.
Please
connection
join the
isn't
channel
that
membership.
good.
yeah,
But
connection, sure. So which amino acids you can't get from plants?
I said myosin and actin. I put that in my comments before I signed
Are
in
are those
also.
essential? Because they're not essential. There are only 9 essential amino acids that we need.
Okay, and what are those?
The 9 essential amino acids that we need.
Yeah, and what are those?
The 9 essential amino acids that we need are the amino acids that our body don't produce, and those are
Okay, and so you don't
histidine.
know what those are, and you're not an
I
NMD, you haven't been
I can
raised
tell you
by
I can tell you
one.
what those are. That's what I was
Okay,
about to
that's what
tell
I'm
you right now.
asking. Then state those if you're going to be so
Histidine.
critical of what
Here
I
you
was
go.
saying when I was being
Here you
cut
go.
out.
You gotta be quiet for a second to listen to them. Histidine, isoleucine, leucine, lysine, methionine, phenylalanine,
You don't even know how to
threonine,
pronounce
tryptophan,
them.
and
That's
valine.
hilarious.
Yeah, I
Hold
don't
on,
need to
hold
know
on
how
a
to
second.
pronounce them.
Salil,
I
can
know
I
that
just ask what's the relevance of this? Like, what does it matter what they're called? Oh, so surely
yeah.
all we need to know is that there's
Because
9
you have to
essential.
be able to
Hang on a
look
minute.
up what
Hang on a minute.
ingredients
Wait,
and
wait,
what
wait.
nutritions you need.
Salil,
You have to be
I'm gonna
educated to
mute
know.
you. Right. So I've just muted you. If we could just, be respectful of each other and not talk over each other. Yeah, all we need to know in this situation is that there's 9 essential amino acids that we can obtain from plants. It doesn't matter what they're called or if we can pronounce them or not. I don't know what the relevance is of that. I mean, I can't pronounce them. It doesn't make the point less correct, I don't know. Right, I'm gonna unmute you anyway to give you a chance to respond. Because yeah, I mean, we were having a good conversation, so yeah, let's. Oh, I've just sent you an invite to unmute. Did you get that?
Are you talking to me?
Yes. Okay. Right. So I feel like we've kind of covered the protein part. So yeah, we
Well,
can.
I just kind of came off on that tone with you because then you guys said that I went to go look up information. And if you were reading the comments before I even requested get on with you, I put that in my comments. Like, I'm not coming in here to try to attack your judgment for it, but I am trying to put out there somebody that has been raised in the medical field, the alternative medical field, and is very knowledgeable about it, that
Okay.
there is a
God.
different perspective. And
Okay.
it is important to know what
Yeah.
proteins and how to pronounce them and what it is, because if you're reading ingredients and doing things to look up a healthy diet, yes, you need to know what you're putting into your body. So I don't agree with that.
So Soleil, can we all agree that all of our essential proteins can be obtained on a plant-based diet? Can we agree
No,
that
I don't agree with that. That's not factual.
but it is. But it
Which
is.
It is
which
not.
amino acid? Yeah. Which amino acid? We ask again. Which amino acid you can't get from plants that is essential?
Keratin, taurine.
That's not an amino
I'm
acid.
talking about proteins. Are you talking about amino acids?
Well, proteins are. Oh, do you mean micronutrients or macronutrients? I'm not sure because do you understand?
Macronutrients.
Do you understand? Okay, macronutrients. Okay, so we're not talking about because macronutrients means protein means the 9 essential amino acids that we
Correct.
need. If you're talking about the micronutrients that we require, those are different, right? Like you said, keratin, that's micronutrient.
Yes, and
and
that
those
is
we
all
don't
essential
classify
for
them
brain
as.
function, and it's crucial.
Sure, but all 9 essential amino acids are found in all plants.
Okay, well, I guess we're like not. There must be a language barrier or something because
Do you trust nutritional science? Do you
I
trust
absolutely
nutritional
do. I was
science?
raised by an NMD.
Okay, so
Do
can
you
you
have the
explain to me?
background
Can you
to back
explain
up
to
what
me?
you're saying?
Yeah, I'm a nutritionist. Yes, so I'm a certified nutritionist. So can you explain
So
to
are
me?
you a
First of all, even if I
chiropractor?
wasn't a certified nutritionist, I'm a certified nutritionist, as I explained it to you. I'm not. I don't believe in alternative medicine. And just FYI, it doesn't really matter what my credentials are, because what matters is we trust data, and we have empirical data showing that you can thrive on a plant-based diet. That means you can get all the macro and micronutrients that your
Well, I
body
don't agree with that. So
requires.
if you're going to
So
be
if you're
so
gonna deny,
judgmental of other people's
okay,
life
so you're gonna.
decisions based off of human nutrition, that's where we differ. Now, if you're going to do it for the
Well,
land
no,
and for the
I'm not.
animals alone,
You're
sure,
denying
all the power
nutritional
to you.
science. You're
What did you
denying
say?
nutritional science. You're
No, I am not.
denying nutritional science. It's as simple as that.
I'm not.
So
I
wait,
actually
so
have
okay, so
more
Solil,
like
let me put it
experience
this
with
way.
it than
What
most
kind of
people I
okay,
know.
what kind of what kind of paper, what kind of evidence do you need to see to believe that you can be healthy on a plant-based diet?
What do you mean by that? I'm not understanding the question.
So what type of evidence do you need to see to believe that you can be healthy on a plant-based diet?
I don't really need evidence, but I also want to mention that everybody's constitution is different. You know that, right?
Oh God! So you don't need evidence to believe a certain scientifically nutritional claim?
Well, I'm just not going to go back on what I've studied and researched and experienced through my lifetime and all the doctors I grew up around. No, I'm not going to discard that because
Doctors
you're
don't
saying
have
something.
nutritional training. Doctors don't have nutritional training.
I
So
was
I'll ask
raised
you
by
yet again.
an MND, a
What
natural
type of
medical
evidence do you need to
doctor,
see? What type of
and yes,
evidence?
they do have
Sure. What
nutritional
type of
training.
evidence? Sure. What type
You
of
don't even
evidence
know
do
what
you
you're
need to?
talking about.
Sure.
That's
Sure.
hilarious.
Sure. I don't believe in pseudoscience medicine. So can you please tell me what type of evidence do you need to see to believe that you can be healthy on a plant-based diet?
So you don't believe that a doctor, that has a doctorate knows what it's doing and they have to
No,
renew
that
their
would be an appeal
license yearly?
to authority. That would be an appeal to authority. A doctor can be wrong, just like any other doctor can be wrong. That's why we trust empirical evidence. So what type of evidence do you need to
So you
see
don't believe in
to believe that you
alternative
can be healthy
science
on a plant-based diet?
research, but you don't believe in
I
doctors
believe in
either. So you
in
just
what
believe in
science,
your
I
own
believe in what
self.
empirical evidence says. I believe in what science says, evidence-based medicine, evidence-based science.
A lot of what you're saying is very conflicting and contradicting.
What is conflicting about believing in evidence-based science?
Because you're saying that you don't believe in MDs and NMDs that do in
Okay, I'm
fact
done with this.
do that.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
done.
think we're
It's pretty
really going to
clear.
get further. Like, you're just going to deny that. Like, I could appeal to authority too, as well. I could say, oh, I worked in agriculture. I was an inspector. I used to test animals. I used to bring them to the lab, to the facilities, and say this, that, and the other. Or I could appeal to other people that I know. Like, you're just appealing to people outside of you. You're not a doctor yourself. And I don't understand the point of appealing to somebody else. And you're claiming that you think you
That's
know more
exactly
than
what you guys are doing,
you're
though.
cutting me
So it's
off. You're
okay if
cutting me
you do
off.
it,
Now
but
you
no
got
one else
upset. You
can.
got upset when
Soleil.
people cut you off, right? And now you just cut me off, right? So you're making all these appeals to authority, to health, all these things, and Chip's simply asking if you have documentation to show that you can't live healthy and fine on a plant-based diet, which we all know that's not the case. And I just don't understand where you're going
I'm
with
not
this.
even saying
This
that
is
you
your
can't. Jack LaClain did it
justification.
for
This
54
is your
years.
justification for harming and abusing and mutilating and putting all these poor innocent animals through such awful suffering just so you can justify it by claiming that science is woozy and it's fake and whatever. It's just pretty sad, man. I just cannot believe that adults in 2026 would come up here and talk so little about innocent animals who have no say, little say, and you claim you care about the animals. Oh, I care about the animals. No, right now you're just
Again, you're
justifying your
contradicting what I
own,
said
and you're
because I
giving
said
lip
if you do
service.
it
You're
for
giving lip
animal
service.
rights
You're
alone,
providing
then
lip
it's enough.
service for yourself to make yourself feel better about your justification or whatever it is, so you can unalive innocent, disabled, and genetically engineered babies. By the way, because that's who you eat.
No, that's not what I'm saying, and that's not what I said. I said if you do it for those reasons alone, that's fine. But to say that it is the healthiest diet and way of life is not factual.
We aren't talking about diets here.
Yeah,
Wait, I
so
thought we were.
no, Soleil, I don't think anybody made that claim, but I mean, when we look at science, my opinion is that we should look at the scientific consensus. So, you know, not point to one paper or not point to one doctor or what they say. We should look at the consensus of, you know, all of the experts. So, for example, the largest association of dietitians and nutritionists, they say that a plant-based diet can be healthy and nutritious for all life stages. We know that the World Health Organization also backed that up. So yeah, we have to kind of look at the consensus. Do you acknowledge that?
I do acknowledge that there are a lot of thriving people. Like, do you know who Jack LaLanne is?
Who? Jacqueline?
Jack LaLanne? Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Huge
Jack
athlete, huge
Jacqueline.
vegan. Jack LaLanne. He actually has a juicer
Jacqueline.
company. Jack
Okay.
LaLanne.
Yes, you can. I mean, you can point to all of these kind of anecdotes. I'm just saying that it's
No,
good
he
to.
was actually a very thriving vegan. I know it's
Mm.
possible. Like, I
Yeah,
guess
yeah.
you're not listening to what I want to say,
No,
and
no,
you guys
I'm
want to
agreeing with you.
speak.
Soleil, I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that you can point at anecdotes on both sides. I'm agreeing with you. I'm just saying that we should look at the consensus, because you could also say that you could be healthy on a non-vegan diet. If you're eating like a minimal amount of flesh, and then you're eating lots of plants and you're exercising and stuff, you could be more healthier than a vegan who's eating lots of junk and processed plant-based foods. But
Yeah, for
but
sure.
I'm saying that the evidence says that a plant-based diet can be healthy and nutritious for all life stages. So
Yeah,
do you acknowledge that?
I do acknowledge that, but I
Okay.
also acknowledge the side that there's a lot of people that don't do well with veganism, and it may be because they didn't do things the healthy way. I'm not
Mm.
sure, but I can
Yeah.
only speak for my dad and myself and other doctors that work together that study that, had that lifestyle, and the brain fog and all of that had to
Yeah.
do with those certain proteins that you could not do. And mind you, these are people that only support organic and minimal protein because of those things that I said that I respect and value. But my
Yes.
only debate is the human diet being at its best and everybody's constitution being different. And therefore, I think that if people are trying to do their best with their own health, then, it would be nice for some vegans to understand that there's other people out there that aren't just doing it because they're completely selfish. There's
Yeah,
another side of it.
so obviously you can do any diet poorly, right? You can do, like I said, you can do a vegan diet poorly. If a lot of people say, "Oh, I went vegan," it was it was bad because they go from their usual diet, and then they're not consuming as many calories. They don't really know what foods they enjoy. They don't really know, like, they're not the meals aren't like for like, so it's like it's a big difference. They're not consuming it. Of course you can do it poorly, but that's not a good it's not good to base our opinions on that, because you can also do it very well. But anyway,
Yeah.
I think we're going to move on because you've been up for a while.
Well,
so
thank you for respectfully talking to me and giving me a chance to talk. And I do admire anybody that chooses to be vegan for animals alone in the earth. And that my mind won't change on that. I think it's the best lifestyle for that.
So,
by
like,
far.
I've got some resources on here. I appreciate the link is probably cut off, but if you go onto my profile, it's also in my bio.
Okay.
Would you be open to having a look on there and maybe watching? I've got Dominion, and also The Most Important Speech You'll Ever Hear. That's a pretty good one
Okay.
as well. All right, cool.
Yeah, I'm open to anything that's helpful for animals in the earth for sure.
Cool. Okay, we're gonna move on. So I appreciate you coming up.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too. So
Before you move on, can I
Sure.
just say that this was utter and complete nonsense? I'm sorry, but this whole idea that everyone has different needs, no, we all require the same macro and micronutrients. You can say maybe there are very, very fringe cases where some people require more of one micronutrient, it's more of another micronutrient, or maybe you can find a specific situation where you need something else. But almost universally, everyone needs the same thing, unless you have like an absolutely ultra rare condition. So no, everyone can adopt a plant-based diet. Even in the situation where you need something else, you can still adopt a plant-based diet or make it work somehow. So I'm just, it annoys me when I hear these appeals to nature that are pure nonsense, and whatever.
Yeah, people claiming to be different. Oh, my body's different than everyone else's. No, that's absolutely right. Okay, let's move on. Oh, I just brought someone up, but they've gone. Hey, are you over 18?
Yeah, but I'm already vegan, like I'm activist.
Okay, cool.
I
What
would
made you come on up?
like to join. Yeah.
Join the panel? Can you hear me?
Yeah, like yes, I'm Kale, like from Discord.
Okay,
You know
sure.
me? You don't
Yeah.
know.
Does it no? Sorry. What name do you go by on Discord?
Kale, Kale me
Kale.
baby.
Yeah, we know Kale.
Okay.
Gem, we know
Yeah.
All
Kale.
right. Cool. Yeah. I don't know because you know, you could be any like troll, like yeah, I'm vegan, and then you know, I'll
Yeah,
let you
of
appear,
course.
and then okay, cool. Do you know how I usually work the panel?
Like few times I've been in different kind of lives, but I'm not
Okay.
really super with the
Sure.
TikTok
Yeah,
panel
so yeah, you're welcome
experience.
to just chill out there. Yeah, I usually go through, have conversations with people, but when I'm done having the conversation, then I open up to the rest of the panel to see if they want to ask any questions. I think it usually works quite well because obviously there's different routes you can take the conversation down. So obviously if you're, you know, listening and I go down one route, you can kind of bring the conversation back to that, see if you have better luck. So yeah, I'm gonna keep doing my thing, and yeah, I'll let you know when I'm done with the next one.
Yeah.
Hey, are you over 18?
Hi, yes, I am.
Perfect. Sorry, what can I call you? Yes, immigrant. Yes, immigrant.
Grant. Well,
Oh
my name's
yes,
Grant.
I'm Grant. Okay, so I can just call you Grant.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So Grant,
Right.
how do you feel about animals?
I like animals. I have nothing
Okay.
wrong with animals.
How do you feel about animal exploitation?
What do you mean by exploitation
So,
specifically?
I mean, using them in a way that goes against their own interests. So, using them for our own selfish purposes.
Generally, I don't think that it's very nice. No.
Okay. So, would you agree that we should respect other animals?
I do agree. Generally, I've heard some of your points. I just joined in, and I like how you handle situations. You guys are really respectful. I see
Yeah, I
lives
appreciate
like
that.
this, and the majority of the people aren't.
Yeah.
But I
I
think that
appreciate that.
generally I'll answer your question and say yes. You know,
Yeah.
that I do agree with you. That
Yeah,
it's
no, I
not right
appreciate.
and this and that. But I think
Yeah.
the specific points are what make it harder for me to, you know, decide on connecting
Yeah.
to this.
I appreciate the honesty. Yeah, I really value honest conversations. So my next question would be: do you think that it's possible to truly respect animals if we are exploiting them for their flesh, eggs, breast milk, or using them for any other purpose?
No, I mean, no, I don't think so.
Okay. So what's your understanding of veganism, Grant? Do you know what like the definition is?
I don't know the definition. I know that veganism was, you know, not, you know, it's not just not eating meat, but it's not eating the things connected to the harvest of you know, and like you explained,
Yeah.
you know, milk and things like that as well, eggs.
Sure. Okay, so the definition of veganism, it's the ethical principle that humans should live without exploiting other animals. So as you've mentioned, yeah, of course we don't eat their flesh or anything that comes out of their bodies or use them for entertainment or for clothing or for any labor or anything like that. So it's kind of it's about not viewing them as a resource or as a commodity. It's about viewing them as individuals. just like we are, you know. So based on the fact that you feel that we should respect animals and it's not respectful to exploit them, do you feel that there's anything preventing you from being vegan and living in alignment with your morals?
Yeah, I mean, I think there is some things preventing it. Actually like to learn the perspective you guys have. You seem more, grounded with your point of views. You don't push more aggressive like I've seen other people. But I would say one of the things that get in the way is, if I'm going to support move, it's somewhat of a movement. I know it's still just seen as a personal decision. I would want to see the effect like over a large amount of people. So if I think of it like if a lot of people were to switch to eating plant-based meals and basically the veganism lifestyle, then what changes would that have? What would need to be introduced? Obviously there'd be more production of these type of foods, and what effects would that have? And I've seen a lot of people put in the comments, which is my question basically, of insects. I don't know much about it, to be honest, but a lot of people say, veganism is like a pro-life, like, no killing of animals, it's not right. But people make the point that it indirectly kills a lot of insects.
Let's
and that's
watch the
still
words we're using, guys. Sorry.
Yeah, so it's just for TikTok, Grant. So instead of so unalive, okay. So
Sure.
yeah, I just want to address some of what you said. I'll go with the last thing that you said first, which is the insect stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of people do have a misconception about veganism. A lot of people assume that it's about causing less harm or causing less suffering, or it's about, like you said, like a pro-life thing. It's about avoiding exploitation, just to make it really simple. So yeah, when people are talking about insects, they're usually referring to insects that are unalived in crop fields, for example. So the problem with that, and I have done a real kind of debunking what that is. So those insects in the crop fields, it's not a accurate comparison with the animals being exploited. So they're not being forcibly impregnated. They're not being separated from their families. There's none of these violations. They're not being sent to a slaughterhouse. They're not being mutilated. They're free, right? They're free to escape, and they're free to live, and also the other thing that I would say as well is that most crops are produced for non-vegans, because the animals that they're eating require a lot more plants than we do. So being non-vegan just maximizes the amount of insects that are unalived anyway. It's often not as many as people think it is, because these are, people say, like, moles and rabbits and stuff like that. These animals, if there's like a combine harvester, which again, it's not proven that these are very dangerous and that they unalive everyone underneath them, but they feel the vibrations, they know when danger is happening, and they move, they escape. So it's often not as many as people make out it is, but even if it was, again, we can just minimize that by living vegan anyway. And I think the other thing that you said,
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to touch on that a little bit. So
yeah,
it seemed like you said it leads to more, I guess you wanted me to use the term unalive. So it leads to more, unalivings of insects being, for the meat diet versus veganism. How is that? I mean, I would think that it would lead to more, specifically with veganism, because it's it's all plant-based. But is it?
Yeah. So let's imagine. So you've got a vegan, let's say me, and then you've got somebody else who's not vegan. So me and this other person, I've got an imaginary person next to me, we both need to eat the same amount of calories in a day. So obviously I'm going to get all of my calories from plant-based sources. This other person might get them from plant-based sources, but let's say, you know, they're going to consume animals as well. So you not only have to consider the animals that they're exploiting, which is, like I said, an even worse violation. It's like, you know, 100 times worse, in my opinion, than just being accidentally unalived. So you've got to consider that animal, but also every single crop that the animal that they're eating has eaten in the entire course of their lifetime. So let's say they've eaten like a piece of steak, for example. That cow who was raised and then butchered in a slaughterhouse for that steak was raised for 18 months. And for those 18 months, they've not just eaten grass, they've eaten grains, and they've eaten barley and wheat, and, you know, a lot more crops than the vegan did. So what I'm saying is that, well, okay, so the largest study that was ever produced that looks at our relationship between farming and the environment concluded that if the world went plant-based, we would minimize the amount of land that we use by 75%, because we not only don't need all the land to house the 92 billion animals who are slaughtered every year, but also we don't need the land to grow the crops to feed those animals. There are 92 billion of them every year who are slaughtered, compared to 8 billion humans. So it's drastically decreased. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. I understand that.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So the
Cool.
other reason, and the main reason why I haven't made any jump or really considered it super seriously, is because my thought process is, if I were to go vegan, if I were to stop eating meat, a lot of people, like, as I grew up, I would think, you know, how many cows would have I saved if I wasn't eating this meat, or if I switched this lifestyle? And I thought that as I was a child, and I thought, man, I'm basically killing, like, probably multiple, or I'm sorry, I shouldn't use the word, unaliving
It's okay.
multiple cows, or animals or whatever. And, you know, I do care about animals, so I would think about that as I would grow up. But then I kind of realized, because then I got into business, and I realized that, you know, if I were to switch, looking at it logically, maybe I'm incorrect here, maybe you'll correct me, and I've never thought that far into it. But if I were to switch to be vegan, it doesn't alter the industries. You know, it's not going to alter these huge industries that are the ones actually committing the acts. It's not going to alter their production. They're not going to get a call and say, oh, Grant just switched, now we have to produce X amount less. They're just not, because
Sure.
it's such
Okay.
a high ratio of a number. So
Yeah.
that was one of my main things that kind of got in the way. And it is, you know, it is a selfish way of thinking to a certain point, and I could admit that, because you're basically saying, you know, well, you could agree that maybe something could be better ethically, or better if everybody was to do this, but you're just choosing not to, because you know you yourself isn't going to change that effect. So you'll have everybody else argue about it and decide, but you just want out of it. And that's what I've decided. But
Yeah.
I
So,
mean, I'm
sorry.
curious what your perspective is on that.
Yeah, so my response to that would be, so that kind of logical way of thinking is, I would say that you're viewing animals as like a collective rather than as individuals. And the way that supply and demand works, I mean, sorry if I'm kind of mansplaining, because I know you do business, so you probably already know this, but yeah, so obviously if you create a demand, then they're going to, you know, increase the supply. And so every
Yeah.
time you purchase, you know, something from an animal, you're demanding that another animal be bred into existence to be exploited for you. So I would say that it's not really, you know, we shouldn't look at the big picture, because yeah, we're seeing animals as, you know, just numbers. We're seeing them as a collective because there's so many of them, but this collective is made up of many individuals, and to them it means everything to them. So if you went vegan, then I think on average it's like 100 to 300, so 200 animals every year won't be exploited for you. And like I said, that means everything to them, because it's their entire life. So I would say, you know, imagine if somebody said to you, you know, well, you know, I'm gonna exploit and schmurder you because, you know, it's not really going to make a difference to the statistics of human schmurder, you would say no. Like, don't, you know, you would not think
Well,
that
I
that
mean,
was a
it would
great argument,
depend.
right?
Like that wouldn't really be how it would be framed, though. Like if somebody said, "Look, we're gonna do this to you, and you're gonna be, you know, all these bad things you're gonna basically be eaten off of, and to feed X, you know, millions and millions of people." If one of the people decided and they said, "Well, you know, I decided because you're gonna get eaten, and it's literally not gonna change the reality at all, and I need it, and I want to eat and you taste better," I'd be a fair game, you know.
No,
Like, I
no,
don't view you as that evil.
but what I'm saying is that if it weren't for them, you wouldn't be a victim at all. Like,
Yeah, well, if it weren't for everybody, but I look at myself as an individual.
yeah,
I'm not
like
everybody.
the
I
other
can't control
animals.
everybody's decisions. You know,
Yeah,
I understand that they're animals, and I wouldn't want to cause harm to them. If I could blink and you know, if my action genuinely led to a difference in real time, and genuinely, like, then I would think about it.
but it does lead
to
to a
make the
difference
decision and know that
for many
to make the decision
individuals.
and know that it wouldn't. Sorry, I won't keep talking. I just wanted to finish the sentence.
Yeah.
If I made the decision knowing that, which is ultimately what it leads down to, knowing that it wouldn't change the demand, you know, because they're not looking and saying, okay, there's 50 million need of cows or whatever, and now it changed to 50, or now it changed to 49,999,999. So we need to change our demand. We need to change. It's just not what's happening for one individual when there's millions and millions that are
Grant,
collectively eating.
sorry, Grant. I really need to reiterate this, because to the one, even if it's one individual, to that individual, it means everything to them. It changes the entire course of their life. It changes their entire
No, but what I'm saying is that if there is a
destiny.
need, if these companies decide we need X amount produced within a month or whatever it may mean,
Yeah, based on
you
the
know,
demand.
and their decisions change off of that. Me
Mhm.
changing and saying I'm not going to buy the X amount of pounds a month of meat that I would isn't making them make any different decision. It's
Of
not
course
leading
it
to any
is.
different calculation because it's such a small piece of the pie. It's just not. And
No.
it's factual. I mean, if there's such a big number of people, and I'd like to hear Chip's, you know, input on this as well. But I mean, if there's such a huge number, they're not going to go, okay, now our whole estimate changed and we need one less cow a year. That's just not what they're gonna do. They over you know, predict. They want to make sure it's not down to the exact number. So one person leaving the market of 50 million people or however many it is, I'm not sure. For a fact, they're not making different decisions. The same cows are being killed at the same exact time. It's not, you know, collectively, you guys all have an impact, but I'm not pushing out my opinion. I'm not going to lead to, you know,
Okay.
tens of thousands of other people
Yeah,
to make the same decision.
I get your point, Grant. I mean, I fundamentally disagree. We have evidence to show that our demand has a massive impact. But anyway, we've been talking for a while. I'm going to open
So
up.
how do you
I know.
think that it happens though? Like if one person says I'm gonna, like if I stopped right now,
Yeah.
do you think they notice that
Oh, yeah.
little amount of meat that's not being
Yes.
part of the equation?
To the individuals, I know you wanted Chip's opinion, or does anyone else want to ask anything? Because I want to go to the toilet.
Can I just say something? You mentioned the
Go to the
individuals.
toilet.
So on estimate, would I average out that someone's responsible for their food choices from the age of 18 or 20 to like 70 years old? In that instance, people will take between like 5,000 and 20,000 lives over that period of time. So yes, it has a dramatic impact. Imagine filling up a small stadium full of animals, right? And them having to go through that experience for something that's absolutely unnecessary. You're just choosing it for, you know, arbitrary reasons.
Where do you live? Do you live in US?
I do, yes.
Yeah, so I think I just saw somebody in the chat here on YouTube saying that they made a tool to calculate how many animals are affected by your choice to not be vegan, and per region, and US was 200 animals per year. Obviously, you can take that with a grain of salt, but surely even you can agree, like even if you believe that there is some form of prediction, predictions are based on demand. So predictions do change also based on demand. So
Yeah,
surely you
but
can believe that your
you would agree
choices
with.
will affect at least one animal per year, right? Can we agree that at least one animal per year is affected by this?
Yeah, I mean, but it's the same if you look at iPhones. I buy an iPhone per year. If I stop being a client of iPhone, they're not making one less iPhone a year when they make millions and millions and millions of them. They're not
Yeah,
going to go, look at our demand now. It's one person lower. We're going to make these decisions different. That's just
yeah,
not the reality. The same
you
amount of
shouldn't do
iPhones are
that.
going to be made at the same exact time, and there's going to be
Yeah,
zero indifference. And
yeah, you
that's just the
shouldn't.
fact. And they'll have one extra. So if I lead the 1 cow a year, they'll have one extra. They're not going to make different decisions because and it won't be an extra. It will be killed at the same exact
No, no,
time
no. So
because
just to
the
be
demand
clear,
is so.
just no,
Sure.
just to be clear, what I was saying wasn't that your demand would be 1 cow. Your demand would obviously be around 100 to 200 animals, maybe 300, even depending on how many animal products you consume. But what I'm saying
Sure.
is that even if you take into account this appeal to futility that you're doing right now, that it doesn't really change, it doesn't really make a difference. Surely you can agree that when it comes to 100 or 200 animals per year, at least one of them is no longer exploited. At least one somewhere out there, one animal is no longer exploited. So you can say, sure, the number theoretically should be 100 or 200, but because they overproduce, because they do all these other methods, it's more than that. So if it's at least one, how can you ever justify saying, okay, well, this one animal is okay to be exploited?
Well, I'm
Like,
not
why not just
justifying that. I don't justify that. It's just that it's going to be regardless. You know, it's a market of hundreds of millions of people that are
May I
that
add
are.
something?
You know,
Yeah,
I mean, that's just my. I was hoping you guys would say, you know what, that's true, but X, Y, and
it's
Z, and
not
it would kind
true?
of change
so,
my mind.
like I will give you the exact statistic for you, okay? You're
Sure.
going vegan actually will make huge difference, a huge one. You know, in US alone, where you live, right? 400 million fewer animals were brought into a life of exploitation and suffering in 2014 than 2013, due to rise in the number of the plant-based diets. In UK, the number of vegans has risen 360% in last decade. So it has huge impact.
Yeah, the
Like if
collective
it
of
is
it,
not,
but not the individual.
yes,
Like if there was
you
one
are
less, if
you are the
if
part
there
of
was
it, you
one
know,
less vegan,
bro,
they would
bro,
make the same
bro,
decisions as they do.
you
Sure.
are repeating yourself, right? Like we are making the recycle and we are not going anywhere. Like I'm
Sure.
going so I'm going to ask you a really simple question then. Can you tell me your worst experience that you ever had in your life?
My worst experience that I ever had in my life. I mean, I'd have to take a second to think about that.
Yeah, you don't have to give me the details. Worst
Yeah, I
memory.
mean, I would assume, I guess I would say somebody making a decision that impacted me negative
So how did you
without saying the
felt? Like
details.
what things that you felt?
What did I feel?
Yes.
Bad.
Okay, can you elaborate more? More than that?
I mean, yeah, I'm trying to fall into what you're saying. So I guess you could say not respected. So what's your point connected to this?
Okay, you felt not respected. This is your worst memory in your life?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So imagine that moment that happened to you, okay? Your worst memory, you felt like a shit or something anyways.
Sure.
So like imagine you're born as a slave. Your brother shot into the head.
Mm-hmm.
You are being kidnapped. Your mother wails for you. But there is nothing she can do. You are living in this small cage. And there's a snowy, cold day. There is no heating. Nobody cares about you. When you grow up, you are facing same shit what your mother had. You are being artificially inseminated. basically someone putting almost his almost whole arm to your anus to make sure your cervix in right place. After that, insert the metal rod to your vagina. It is happening without your consent.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure, like, can I use that word in this platform? So I won't use that. But you know what it means. Without consent, you
Yeah.
are putting, yes, right?
Yeah, I
So
understand.
yeah, so your male newborn child is being killed, your son, and your the other being basically kidnapped, and you are milked for 5 years. This cycle goes for 5 years. At the end of the road, they are kicking you into the slaughterhouses. You know something is not right there. You hear the screams of your friends. You feel the blood of your kin, right? And you are on the death toll. You cannot move to right. You cannot turn to right or left. You can only go backward or forward, and somebody is kicking you to go to the forward. At the end of the road, somebody is slitting your throat. Which one is worst experience?
Which one is worse between what?
Between your worst experience,
Oh, yeah, the experience you just mentioned.
yes,
Yeah, I understand that.
yeah.
I mean, I respect you guys because you spread your opinion. So maybe collectively you influence X amount of people and it has, a collective effect similar to, what you explained. But I mean, knowing that there's 100 million plus people that are committing to an act that's leading to actions that the companies take, and I'm one.
It is
I mean, there's
utility
100 million times my effect. So I just know they're not making different decisions. You could do the math and say it's 200 animals per month or whatever, or 200 animals per year that you're technically eating, but they would have still been eating at the same exact time.
Yeah. There is hundreds, thousands of people are being sexually attacked, right? And there is a oppressor people, right? So
Yeah.
will you be oppressor also too? Would you be oppressor?
Well, I mean,
also
it's
too? But because it's
situational, but in
happening.
this situation, I
No,
wouldn't. I
no.
mean, I'm choosing
Not
to.
so.
Wait, sorry,
Say that
Grant.
again?
What's your response? What's your response to the question? Sorry. You say you would join
Well,
in.
I'm saying in this situation about animals, etc., and there's an opposing force.
No.
I've obviously not joined the.
So you wouldn't join in, even though, like the majority of people are.
Knowing that I would only have an effect on reality if I was to push out my opinion and get other people to join and be like in the revolution, no, because I wouldn't do that. I know I'm not doing it. So I know I'm not changing reality because I'm such a little piece.
No,
like
come
you guys
on.
look at the collective
No,
effect, but I'm just one
so wait a
person.
minute, because as we've established, you have at least an impact on some animals per year. And you said, when I ask you how does that,
when there's 100 million other people
Sure.
and you're
Wait a minute.
that
Yes,
little
let me
of a
finish, please.
multiplier on it.
So
Sure.
okay, so I'm just trying to understand, because there's 8 billion people on this planet, and if somebody chooses to unalive one person, it means absolutely nothing to the population of the planet. But if they choose to unalive you, it means
But I'm
everything
not
to
choosing
you.
that. I'm not the one
So
that's doing it.
how is
I'm
it
someone
how is it
else.
justified? How is it justified for you to make the choice that would unalive an innocent animal, that would exploit them, when you can easily choose something else? Like, this appeal to futility of yours doesn't work. If by that logic, you should allow yourself to do any form of injustice, because
and I get
all
that
forms
point.
of
You're right.
injustice
You're
will
right there.
continue.
Yeah, I understand. That's a good point. And I knew you were going to mention that. It is true. Like, I understand that way of thinking could make it to where it justifies, like, for example, trafficking. You say, well, somebody's going to move them regardless, so I'll be the mover and make money on it. I get it, but it doesn't go against the fact of the logic that it is correct.
Well, you
I
just
mean, you're
don't
not
believe
really,
in supply and demand?
if I yeah, but I do believe in supply and demand. That's
Well,
my
then
point. But
it's
I
a
don't.
simple concept. If
I
everyone
don't.
else,
I don't believe that's correct, and maybe we'll
well,
disagree
yeah, if
there.
you're paying someone to do something for you, obviously you should be held accountable.
Yeah. I'm going to really ask you a simple question. Would you like to trade the places with your victims and somebody says that, no, I cannot change anything, somebody will do that anyway, so I'm going to slit your throat. Would it be acceptable or not?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't sound acceptable, but the biggest point
So
is
why you are
if
doing
I'm
that?
making the decision and I know there's no actual real world effect, then it
It
makes it
has
harder for me to
effect.
make that decision.
You don't understand supply demand chain, right? You
I
are
do understand it very well,
no.
but when there's hundreds of millions of people doing something, they don't change their factor and say, "Oh, we got to pull this lever now and supply
No,
200
this
less
Yeah.
people because he."
yeah, this
Guys,
is
I
not
think
going
we should
anywhere.
move on because Grant, I feel like
Yeah.
we've already kind of debunked that. You're appealing to popularity, but then also you're saying that we need collective change. But a collective is made up of individuals like yourself. I feel like
Yeah, I agree with
it's
that,
it's
and
a
I
cop
understand
out,
we can go
dude.
in circles about this.
Um,
I get
yeah,
it.
like okay, so I'm gonna move on, but would you be open to watching something on I've got a link here also on my bio. It's on there, so you could just click onto it, and it will take you to like a page with a few links. Would you be open to watching? I've got Dominion, and there's also
Yeah,
a
of course.
speech.
I'll take a look
It's
at it.
called The Most Important Speech You Will Ever Hear. I would definitely recommend giving that a watch. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you
Okay.
so much, guys. Have a good rest
All
of your
right.
day.
Can I
Cool.
just say, Kale, sometimes the language, it's TikTok, it's not you. I agree with everything you're saying, but the language sometimes they don't like specific graphic stuff, I guess. So we just use like different terms like unalived or something like that.
Yeah, or pew pew, and
Yeah, okay,
Uh,
thanks for warning.
I'm still
because I don't know.
getting used to it myself. Haven't we
yeah,
already
we
had
Yeah.
Red Bull?
Yeah, we had at the beginning. If I think they were the child that was saying just nothing.
Yeah, I
I'm
think
gonna
this is
drop off.
okay.
I'm gonna drop off because I'm pretty tired. I'll see you in the chat for a bit and then
see you,
next
Yeah.
time.
All right, Chip. I
Cool.
appreciate you coming on. Yeah, I think this Red Bull is a different name. So, are you over 18? Red Bull, you're muted. I'll give you a minute. Oh, okay. Are you over 18?
I love meat. I love chicken.
Oh, you're the same
I love
person.
meat. I love chicken.
Oh man, you're so cringe. I love tofu. I love Satan.
beans. I love beans.
We've got another vegan, I think. Tano Vegano. How you doing?
Hello. Hi.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Have we met before?
No, we collaborated on a video with Jade, I think.
Did we?
Yeah.
Sorry, there's a
Well,
bit
she invited you. She invited you and
Oh.
Cody.
Oh,
It was a
okay.
video of her. I was just.
Yeah.
I'm a vegan, and I just wanted to come on and say that you guys are doing a great job, and I just want to thank you for standing up for the animals.
I appreciate that. No, that's awesome. Sorry, there was a bit of I don't know if it's background noise or like an echo or something, which is why I was like, what? But yeah, no, I appreciate that. Yeah, is that all you wanted to say, or did you want to like hang out in the panel, or?
Well, if you need me, I can stay for a bit. Yeah.
Sure. So yeah, if you either pop yourself on mute, yeah, I would say pop yourself
Sure.
on mute just because there's the background noise, and then I'll just briefly explain. So having guests up, asking them some questions, and then when I've finished my line of questioning, that's when I'll open up to the panel. So I'll ask you or the other guys on the panel if they want to jump in and ask a question. I find it's been working pretty well. So yeah, I'll let you know. Yeah, and you can say if you want to say something. We've got Jeep Junkie. Hey, are you over 18?
I am.
Perfect.
How are you
How do
today?
you feel? I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm okay. Thank you.
Good. You were a little bit quiet, so let me turn you up a little bit. Okay, speak.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. It's just a little bit on the quiet side, so
Yeah, I'm just
yeah,
I'm just kind of in a quiet place, just trying to stay.
that's fine. So how do you feel about animals?
Do you know what? This is a real tough one for me, and as I get older, I'm really thinking towards it. I love animals, and it breaks my heart. I am gonna tell you that I do eat meat. It's unfortunate I do it sometimes, but it really really hurts because I know how terribly they're treated, and it breaks my
Okay.
heart. And I think that men are cruel and wicked and
Okay.
awful because of it. So I had a
Yeah.
question for you.
Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah.
how come not
Ask your question.
vegetarian?
Okay, so the reason I'm not vegetarian is because I oppose animal exploitation, and if you're vegetarian, you still exploit animals if you consume dairy or eggs or wear leather or wool or fur or feathers or use animals for entertainment. So yeah, it's like a logical extension. You know, if you're vegetarian for ethical reasons, well, it doesn't make logical sense if you are vegetarian for ethical reasons because animals are still exploited. But yeah, so I want to ask. So I'm assuming because you say that it's cruel and
Yeah,
you
it
said
really is.
all those things. How do you feel about animal exploitation? I'm assuming you're against that as well. In that case,
I am. I don't like it, and I'm looking into things. Is it true that for milk, because I do drink a lot of milk, I have in my life, that the cow has to always be pregnant constantly to give milk, just like a human, I guess, or can it just last as long as you keep milking them?
yeah. So they'll get impregnated roughly every year. So yeah, they'll get pregnated. Obviously, when they have a baby, they'll start lactating, but their babies are taken away so that the babies don't drink the milk, and the milk can
Yeah,
be taken to be consumed by humans instead.
by human. Okay.
So yeah, that it will probably dry up after some time, which is why they'll keep impregnating each year. Um, so would you
Until the
agree
end
that
of
we should?
their.
Yeah, well, for about 5 or 6 years, 5 or 6 years on average, because you know, cows, they've been selectively bred to produce more milk than what's natural. So, you know, these animals, they have a massive strain on their body. You know, so imagine if you're being forcibly impregnated, giving birth, being milked 2, 3 times a day, and you're having that repeated year on year on year, eventually your body's going to break down. And after about 5 or 6 years, the cow is no longer profitable because they don't produce as much milk or they have health issues because of the way that they've been bred. So then at that point, they'll be sent to a slaughterhouse just like beef cows. So yeah, that's, you know, the only difference between consuming beef and consuming cow's milk is that for cow's milk, the animal is just exploited for a longer period. But yeah, they're still unalived in a slaughterhouse. They still have their rights violated, have their babies taken away, and they go through much more mental trauma, you know, of having their babies taken. Cows are very, very maternal, like we are, you know. So when they have a baby, their instincts tell them to love and protect and nurture their child. So when their child is taken, we see time and again that they'll, you know, react terribly to this. So they'll mourn and they'll grieve and they'll cry out for their babies.
Terrible.
And yeah, it's awful. I think that dairy is one of the cruelest industries. They're all pretty awful, but yeah, for the dairy industry. And then you can imagine what happens to their babies. You know, if they're male, they'll either be unalived when they're still babies because they're considered a waste product, or if they're a female, they'll be raised to have the same fate that their mother did. But yeah, so um,
It's sad. I have seen the videos of the way that animals are treated, and it is heartbreaking.
mm,
It's completely heartbreaking. I don't know if it's different. Like, I lived in a very big city, and in the last 3 years, I moved out to a very small town where a lot of people have like farms, hobby farms, and they're
mhm.
really good to their animals. They don't do that kind of stuff. Is that still something that you, the vegetarian? I'm not talking for eating them. I'm just saying like chickens. Like I know people that have 50 chickens, and generally they lay an egg every day, right? So you
Okay,
can't.
yeah. So
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and they're treated really well. They have free reign of everything. It's beautiful. They're so friendly. They're like, and they don't eat them. It's
okay,
just for the eggs and stuff.
but they're
So
still
what do you
being
think? Is that
exploited for what their body produces, right?
so? What do we do with the eggs then? Like, if you had, like, I guess then you wouldn't own a bunch of chickens because they lay eggs, and then what do you do with them?
Yeah.
You
So
can't. You know what I'm
so
saying? Like, it says,
yeah. So if I had chickens, I wouldn't view it as like I was owning them. I would view them because I wouldn't view them as a commodity or as a product or
yes,
as
yep,
like uh as a resource, and I wouldn't eat anything that comes out of them because that's theirs. And I
yeah,
think that a lot of so basically so chickens that they've been selectively bred, so like cows, chickens in the wild they would only lay between 12 to 15 eggs every single year. Now they've been selectively bred to a point where they're laying
mm,
300 eggs every single year, which has a detrimental
mm-hmm,
effect on their body. They lose a lot of nutrients. The eggshell is made up of
right,
calcium, so when they lay these eggs it constantly causes stress onto their body, and this is why they don't live as long.
right,
They're more susceptible to illnesses. So yeah, I mean, even in the best case scenario, if you rescued the chicken and you didn't create a demand for more of them to be bred, then it's beneficial for the chickens to eat their eggs back to replace the nutrients that they lost. And
uh,
even if
oh
they
yeah,
don't,
they'll do that. I didn't know they did
yeah,
that.
yeah. Even if they don't, by taking away their egg, you're encouraging them to lay another egg to replace
Mm,
that again, which is detrimental to their bodies.
right.
And it's all about this kind of mindset that you're viewing them as a resource, or you're viewing what comes out of their body
Yes.
as food. So to me, I used to consume eggs, but now an egg to me is kind of like that they're shit. It's like something that they produce
Right.
that's like it's not for me. I
Right.
wouldn't want to eat that because I don't see it as food anymore. It's like they release an egg. They're supposed to release an egg every month. It's like their menstrual cycle, you know? I don't see that as
Oh
food.
wow.
So anyway,
Wow.
Jeep, do you agree? So I wanna ask this question. I know you probably say that the answer's obvious, but just to kind of like reiterate the point that I was saying, do you agree that we should respect other animals?
I do, and you know, in the last
Okay.
couple of years, I've come a long, long way. And when I look at little animals, I honestly I look at them and like little people, but they just don't talk human.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
that's how
I
I
like that.
see just about everything. And for me,
Hmm.
they're all whether somebody I'm not religious by the way, but I do believe in a God creator, and I believe he created all these, so we don't have the right to do like I don't even you know when people say he wouldn't even kill a fly, like I really don't. I try to unless I really have to unalive something, I won't.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But I really
Yeah.
respect them, and I look at them very different than other people.
Yeah. So my
No,
next
yeah.
question would be, do you think that it's truly possible to respect them if we are exploiting them for their flesh, breast milk, eggs, or using them for any other purpose, their skin, for entertainment, even if the farmer is good to them, they give them a good life? Do you think that it's really possible if we're exploiting them for what they produce or for their bodies?
No, I don't
Okay.
think in this world, you know, like years ago, if you would have said a few hundred years ago, people were more respectful. They had animals, they just had a farm, a homestead, and they lived like that. But now, because of the way that we have been rounded up in cities and they do all these things and people just naturally accept it for, you know, it's like a part of you. It sounds like nothing where animals are ownership, and it shouldn't be that way. I would love
Hmm.
to see a world like that, but I
Yeah.
don't believe that it'll ever happen because there's too much greed in the world,
Yes,
and
but
they don't care. They just don't care.
yeah, I agree with you, and I share the same. I share the same kind of feelings as you do. I think that yeah, it's horrible that there's people out there who treat animals in a certain way, but the thing is we can control our own actions and we can decide to not be part of that, right?
Right. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I want to ask, what's your understanding of veganism, like the definition?
No animals and nothing from an animal would you
Yeah,
consume.
so yeah, so that's like a consequence of being vegan. So the actual definition, it's the ethical principle that humans should live without exploiting other animals. So it kind of sounds like that's a principle that you align with, but perhaps not in your actions, but your morals.
If,
Would you say that that's accurate?
right, and I would love to. I feel like I'm wrapped up, and I try not to be a part of society when it comes to the different things. Just like tech, I'm
Yeah.
on here, but generally I don't do tech like other people because I choose not to be wrapped into all that stuff.
Okay.
You know, I want to
So
see a world. Yeah.
yeah, so Jeep, do you feel that there's anything preventing you from being vegan and aligning your actions with your morals?
Probably just habit and
Okay.
understanding. Less and less for me. It's been less and less as well. And I don't like the way that they raise them. It's not the same. I'm over 50, and the way that it was when I grew up was very different than now. And you
Yeah.
know, you're taught and you're brought into this where it's just like you're indoctrinated. Everybody's indoctrinated into it, right? It's
Yeah.
just so terrible. But I do
I
little
understand.
by little. My goal is to actually go the way that you're going. I'm just having a difficult time doing it. Like, admittedly, I really am.
Yeah. I
I
think
love
I
cheese
already
and I love milk. Like, yeah, the dairy.
yeah.
It's,
Yeah, so that there's pleasure as well. So do you feel that I just want to ask if you were in the situation of the animals, you were being exploited for your body parts, and somebody's would any of the excuses not excuses because you've just said that they're obstacles, but would any of those things that you've mentioned, habit, lack of understanding, pleasure, would any of those justify them continuing to exploit you?
no, of course not.
Okay.
Of course
So
not. And you know, and I do love animals. And if I was to ever see someone in front of me mistreat an animal, that person is going to have a very bad day.
yeah, I've
You
just got a
know,
couple more questions. So first, I want to
you
ask,
sure can.
do
Yeah,
you know what the number one benefit is of being vegan?
it's probably really healthy, but I just don't know what stuff to eat to substitute for the
Yeah.
protein. So that's kind of why I came on here too. I was trying to find out from you what kind of like dietary would you live like on a normal day.
Okay, so my best advice would be to try and when you're first of all going vegan, I would try and live a lifestyle as close as the one you are now. So I would just make simple switches. So I wouldn't change, you get people who completely change their entire meal plan, and they're, instead of having if they're currently having like a high carb diet, they'll change to like salads and like low carb diets. What I would say is, eat the same meals that you are now, but just make simple switches. So if you're eating, spaghetti bolognese, instead of the beef mince, replace that with lentils, or replace it with a plant-based mince substitute like soya. So you're instead of drinking the cow's milk, drink the oat milk or the soya milk, because it's these simple switches, and you'll find that it's very, very easy than trying to change everything all at once. So I would say that's probably the best advice, and then you're probably going to consume around about the same protein because you're eating very similar. You're just eating the other alternative, right?
Okay. Okay.
So yeah, so the number one, it can be healthier if you
Yes,
consume
I
a
believe
plant-based
there wouldn't
diet.
be all the poisons in it.
Yeah, but the number one benefit is really for the animals, so they won't be exploited on your behalf anymore. And for you, when you say you love animals, when you say you're against exploitation, you won't be a hypocrite because your actions will be in line with your morals.
Correct.
And then, so the other question I wanted to ask, if you were in the position of the animals, how fast would you want your injustice to end?
Oh, well, like, you know what? I don't believe in suffering, so it should be just instant. Like, I know what you're saying when
Immediately.
it comes to animals, how they stretch. Yeah, they stretch it out.
Mhm.
And you're right. Listening to what you're telling me, it's
Sure.
terrible. And maybe if the chickens lay the egg and they just left the egg, then they wouldn't lay anymore, right? So,
Mhm.
like,
Yeah. So how many more animals should be exploited on your behalf from now?
right, yeah.
Should it be zero?
The answer
Or
should be
more?
zero. The
Zero.
answer should be zero.
Yeah. So vegan from now?
I'm a very honest person. I'm telling you that's probably not going to happen. Although I will start looking into other things. Like, I don't eat meat very often. It tastes very different than when I was a child, I guess, in the 70s. So that's the thing. So they're doing awful, right? Like, I mean, it's just poison, and they're trying to
Yeah.
feed them fast and get them bigger fast and all this terrible stuff. But
Could I just,
try to
sorry,
grow soy. Yes, go ahead.
could I just point out a resource that you could write down? It's challenge22.com.
Hold
They'll
on.
provide you with any dietary concerns you might have. They have a free plant-based dietitian, all of that stuff. I just wanted to, if you had
Yeah, I
that,
just wrote it down. Thank you.
yeah, so you can definitely take a look into it. I think, again, it's like Jem was saying. Sorry for interrupting, Jem.
Sorry.
It's again, how fast would you want it to end? And you'd want it to end immediately.
Right.
And I'm here to tell you that it's simple. You look at all the panel here, we're all vegan, we're all ethical vegans. We all did it not knowing 100% what we could get, or maybe we would be missing something, or so we thought. Jeep, I've actually, you mentioned it, how it bothers you the way people treat the animals. Well, I worked in it. I worked in slaughterhouses. So I saw firsthand how the animals were treated right at the end. And I also worked in investigations and other like points of inspection. And I can tell you unequivocally, if you feel that strongly about it, like
The
you don't even
fear
have
that
to
those
go.
animals must experience
Yeah,
at the
you don't
very
even
end
have
must
to.
be horrendous.
Exactly. You don't even have to go in. You can watch one of my live streams. I'm going to go live Thursday. You can even just see from the camera how awful it is. Or you can drive up to one of those places and look in their eyes. They don't want to be in there.
No, they don't.
Mhm.
And again, I'm glad you said that, because only in the last few years, like when I look at animals, I see someone who's got a dog walking on the street, or a cat. I literally will lie on the ground and get to their level, and I look in their eyes and I see, I swear they're talking. I believe that animals are telepathic. I have 2 cats. I know they talk to me all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
And just,
crazy.
Jeep, look at it this way. Imagine if it was your cats going in, you would do everything you could to stop it. And I feel
Oh,
like since you love animals, you feel that passion, you should do something about it. You got to do it now, man. There's no more debating about it.
yeah.
You've already
Yeah.
flushed it out. You've put the lip service out. There's just no more talking about it.
Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm very interested in going this way, because I wanted to come up on the panel with questions, and I
Jeep,
really,
Jeep,
it's
Yeah.
commendable. You guys, it's commendable.
may I add something? Like your morality, your heart is actually in good place, right? You know it, like it is wrong, etc. But we are not asking from you, for example, from now on when you go vegan, like you don't have to throw out what you have in your fridge. For example, you don't have
Yes.
to throw out eggs or milk that you have in your fridge. Damage already has been done, right? Like we cannot change the past, but from now on, will you be the part of this thing or not? You
I
need
will
to ask
try.
yourself, and you
Actually,
need to
honestly,
honestly tell
yeah.
to this thing, no, I don't want it, so I will stop it. I will do that for them, for the animals.
I have looked in alternatives before with cheeses and milks, without doing it, and I'm going to start. Yes, I do have stuff in my fridge, and I do agree with you guys with all of it. I think it's all terrible, and I would like to. I believe that I actually would be healthier if I didn't eat any of it.
Yeah.
Look,
And
cheese,
so
making
I'm
cheese
going to
takes
do my
5
best to
seconds.
try to transition and go that way. I can't promise anything. Again, that would be a lie, and it would be wrong to say it. But it makes me want to even more just faded out because I agree.
Okay.
It's really sad.
So yeah, I just wanted to say, Jeep
Yeah.
Junkie. So I know obviously you agree with what we're saying. I just want to reiterate the point that, you know, for the animals, it doesn't matter what you say, it matters what you do. It's your actions that really matter. And also I just wanted to say about the motivation, because I was in your shoes at one point. You know, I didn't know anything about nutrition. I didn't know anything about cooking. I was thinking, you know, how am I going to do this? But I saw what was happening to the animals, and I said to myself, you know what, I have to be vegan, because it's not an option for me not to be vegan anymore, because I couldn't physically, I just knew that I had to find a way. And if you have that motivation where, you know, you've got to find a way, then you'll do it because you've got the motivation. It's like the saying, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. And the reason I'm saying this is because I've got some resources here. It's also in my bio. It's this link tree and then Going Vegan. Yeah, you can screenshot, or you can go onto my profile. You can click on the link in my bio. There's a documentary called Dominion there. And then there's also a speech. It's called The Most Important Speech You'll Ever Hear. I would say give those a watch, because the most important thing before you know the hows is you've got the conviction, you know the why. Because when you have that, you'll just find a way, you'll just do it because you know that there's no other alternative for you anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, you're right, and I've done things before like that where I know there's no other way and I need to, and I do it, and I'm good with it.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, as
So
long as
I'm glad that you planted
you're
the
thinking
seed
about
with
the
me.
animals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's start doing that
Have them
more
in your
then,
mind.
so that I can. Yes, you're right.
Okay.
I really thank you guys.
Yeah,
And I
appreciate
will
you
check
coming
it out.
up.
I don't have a computer. I
Mhm.
only have my phone. So I will still check it out from your link and check it out. And I have the challenge22.com to look at some other
Mhm.
stuff as well.
Yeah.
And I just want to say thank you to you all then today.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate you coming up. I appreciate the honest conversation. Anybody else want to add anything? I know that I was talking for a lot on that one, so there might not be anything anyone wants to add, but now's your chance. Anyone else on the panel?
Jeep, just put yourself in the animal's position. You know, just think if it was you on the line, and you know, while you think about it more, I don't know if you ever seen any footage of animal exploitation, but if you've seen it, yeah. So while you think about it, more of that stuff is going to happen because of what you do to animals. You know.
Yeah, no, it's no, I get it. I've seen videos like that, and I wish I could jump into the screen and grab all of those people with my hands. Like, it really does bother me. I don't
Yeah.
like it because I do consider them to be innocent, the innocent. I classify people as an innocent, and they are.
Yeah. I relate to that massively. I think that, you know, these animals, they're kind of like they're childlike. They're the most vulnerable,
Yes.
defenseless beings, and we take advantage of that. And you know, we need
Yes, we
people
do.
like yourself. You know, there's already so many people who abuse them and take advantage of them, but you're not one of them, Jeep. We need people. They need people like yourself to protect them, because you know that's the kind of person that I can tell that you are. You know, you're not one of the people who abuse them. But
No, I'm
anyway,
not. No, I'm
yeah,
not.
let's move on.
I want to thank you.
Yeah,
I'm gonna think about myself and think about my two little kitty cats that I have when it comes to that. So that is when I look in their eyes, I just see so much. They're just little beings. Like, it's beautiful.
yeah,
So I
sure.
will.
And if you want to come back on up, I'm usually here every week, every Tuesday evening. So yeah, you're welcome once you've watched those to come on and let us know how you're getting on.
Okay. I'll give you a
Cool.
follow. I'll come back sometime. Say hi to you guys.
All right, awesome. Appreciate it. So
Thank you all so much.
thank you, Jeep. Appreciate that. We're going to move on. I've got 25 minutes left, so let's try and get some other conversations in before I have a hard cut off at 10 p.m. Hey Joe, are you over 18? Joe? Hello? Okay, I'm gonna move on because I don't hear a response. Okay, it might have been an accident. And then we've got Max Carr. Hey, are you over 18?
Yeah.
Perfect. So how do you feel about animals, Max?
Yeah, I do. I like them and I respect them. I'm running a
Okay.
poultry farm at the minute.
How do you feel about animal exploitation? So by exploitation, I mean using them in a way that goes against their interests. So using them for our own selfish purposes. Hang on, you're not over 18. When's your date of birth, Max?
2003.
Somebody said you're not over 18. What, have you gone on their profile? I mean, I only trust mods. If I've got any mods and they could just check, because obviously, yeah, I can't. Otherwise, TikTok will take my live down.
No, 2003.
Okay, well, nobody's saying otherwise, so let's carry on. Yeah, I can't go on your profile, but if any mods do, then just let me know. Sorry, what was your response about animal exploitation?
I think to an extent, people do overuse animals cruelly, like on battery farms and stuff like that. I think people
Yeah.
have gone greedy and selfish.
But how do you feel about humans exploiting other animals, so using them that goes against their interests?
Well, that is opening quite a big wormhole on all of that.
Mm.
When you think about it in the grand scheme, there's two different types. There's battery farming and there's kind farming, where you
I'm
have
just
to raise them.
so I'm just talking about exploitation as a whole. So it could be any kind of farming. So, or so using them in a way that goes against their interests for our own selfish purposes. So it could be for their flesh. It could be for anything their body produces, for entertainments.
I've got you.
Yeah, for testing. How do you feel about that in general?
I think it is fine to an extent.
Okay, sure. And
I
you
think
said that. So, do you think that we should respect other animals? I know that you said you
yeah,
do
definitely.
respect them. Okay. Do you think it's possible to truly respect them if we are exploiting them for their flesh, eggs, breast milk, or using them for any other purpose?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's say if you were being exploited for your body parts, could that ever be respectful towards you?
Yeah, because if you give them a good life, their whole life, and then give them one bad afternoon,
And that would be
that's the way
respectful for you if you were in that situation.
yeah, definitely. If you've been looked
Okay.
after from the day you've
Yeah.
been born,
Yeah, so
all
it
the way
would
up.
be respectful for your parents to drop you off at a slaughterhouse to take your life for your body parts.
If I've lived a good
Because
life, then yeah.
they. Okay. I don't believe you. So I'm done. I'm here for honest conversations. Now's the
I'm being
point
honest.
where. Okay.
When you do meat
Max,
chickens,
hang on a minute. I'm gonna open up the conversation to the rest of the panel and ask if anybody else would like to ask any questions to Max, because yeah, this is where I dip out.
Max, you mentioned that you respect animals, and you mentioned you were a poultry farmer, right?
yeah,
Have you ever made any friendships with the birds?
yeah, definitely.
And so do you see an individual in there?
Yeah,
And if you like obviously we know that you don't have to do this, right? You're choosing to do this.
yeah,
So you're choosing to do this for what, money, I guess, or something?
no, because I like to know where my meat and where my eggs have came from. when I'm putting them into my body.
Yeah, but again, it's not mandatory to do this, right?
Yeah, it's
And
not.
so, what are the like? You mentioned that you've befriended one of these animals before. What are some of the characteristics that you enjoy about chickens or hens?
Seeing them every day and like getting to know their personalities.
Yeah. So, do you have any other animal companions that you're friends with, like dogs or cats?
Yeah, I've got dogs.
Would you ever consider eating a dog?
Nope.
So, what would you say is the relevant difference between them?
One's dog and one's chicken.
No, but what is the like a trait difference or something?
Because one is bred to be eaten and one isn't.
Yeah, but that's not really giving me a trait. That's just giving me a reason. It just doesn't sound like you're equipped to have a conversation, Max.
Yeah.
You could eventually, when you take over Daddy's farm, what you could do is become a sanctuary. And those individuals that you say that you care about, that you've made friendships with, I
could.
worked on the other end of that. I've worked on the other end of it, and it's horrific what happens to them. Absolutely horrific. And
But
so, if you can just think of the worst thing that you've ever witnessed, that's what's happening to them.
But
So
then
just remember that.
the birds that
Maybe
I've
you can
raised,
change. Maybe you can change.
let me speak. The birds that I've raised have been saved from ex-battery farms. I stand by saving them a lot. They'd have gone off to dog food and cat food if I didn't save them, or just
So
flung to death.
now you're claiming that you're saving them, but you're still exploiting them. You're using them for their eggs, right?
An egg is a natural cycle that a chicken does. You can't stop it.
Natural. No, you can slow it down and you can feed the eggs back to the birds.
You
and they
feed
can
the
live a
eggs back
much
to the birds. That's
more.
not good for them.
Excuse me?
Eggs go.
Yeah. No, I
I
would
think
just get
Max
rid of this
Max
game.
has gone off the app. So yeah, let's move on. Yeah. Imranul. Hey, are you over 18? Hello? Right, I'm going to move on because I'm not getting a response. Gentile gentleman. Hey, are you over 18? Hello?
35.
Perfect.
35.
Okay. Sorry, what can I call you? Gentile?
Yep.
Is that okay? Okay. So how do you feel about animals?
I love animals.
Okay. How do you feel about animal exploitation? So, I mean, using them in a way that goes against their interests, so using them for our own selfish purposes.
Well, what you're saying is exploitation, isn't it? Exploitation. Exploitation would be as if, yeah, you're confusing what exploitation really is.
What
with
would you
we're
say
actually doing.
exploitation is?
Exploitation would be like a slave master scenario.
Okay.
It wouldn't be a scenario where we get a benefit from them and they get a benefit from us and we cohabitate. That's not exploitation.
Oh, so what benefit do they get?
Top rate food, shelter, protection, medical.
Okay. So
All
would you
things that they wouldn't get in the wild.
Okay. So would you say that a human being who is raised by their parents, who gets food, shelter, protection, they wouldn't be exploited if they were being used for their body parts? Because they're getting a benefit out of it.
Is that a serious question?
Yeah.
You want to ask something?
Of course, it's a
smarter?
serious question. I'm here for a serious conversation.
Why
If- are you-
don't you try to ask something smarter then?
Oh, okay. Well, if you're not willing
'Cause
to
human
answer,
beings-
then
human
I'll just
beings
move
don't
on.
use human beings' body parts We
I'll
don't
just.
use our children's body parts to benefit us.
It's
So
a
you're
hypothetical question, Gentile. Do you know what a hypothetical question is?
it's illogical.
How is it illogical?
Show me the case where this has happened.
Oh my God, hypotheticals mean. So I'm not saying that this has happened, even though it probably has many times. It's a hypothetical question, which is why it starts with if. It's a hypothetical question. Gentile, I don't think you're equipped for this conversation, so I'm going to ask if
I
anyone
don't think
else,
you are.
if anyone else
I
wants
actually
to
don't
jump
think
in
you
and
are.
ask you a question.
That's why you have your opinion.
I
Okay.
think he's
Because
just
you're
like
not equipped.
triggered. I get rid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Anyone
you're all
else?
you're all nigger faggots, aren't you?
Oh, okay.
There
Well,
we go.
we're just gonna drop you then.
There we go.
You sound way too emotional to have a conversation, Gentile. Maybe go and take some deep breaths. Triggered. having a little meltdown.
Guy needs to do some
Crushing
yoga or
out.
something.
Yeah. I'm sure I already had Imranul up, but maybe I had to drop them because I wasn't getting a reply. Hello? Are you over 18? Yeah, I think there's something wrong with your mic, so Zang.
Hello?
Hey, are you over 18?
Yes, I'm 20.
Perfect. Can I call you Zang, by the way?
Just Zang's fine.
Zang, okay. So Zang, how do you feel about animals?
I like them, I respect them for the most
Okay.
part, yeah.
How do you feel about animal exploitation? So I'll just define that again. So by animal exploitation, I mean using animals in a way that goes against their interests. So for our own selfish purposes.
Well, see, I don't like, I want to say this right now real quick, but I don't agree with the meat industry. So what we talk about, how the meat industry, the dairy industry, what they do to animals, I do agree with you completely. They are wrong, cruel, and I don't believe they should be around. But when it comes to like free range, because I will also come to admit that I am a huge carnivore. I'm not saying it to be a joke or anything like that. I'm just saying I have a lot of meat in my daily diet. And generally, I always order from free range. Everything's been free range. Everything's roamed around, and then they've mostly been fine. So when it comes to exportation, back to your question, I think it's wrong when it comes to the meat industry because they have no life. To be frank, they have very crap life that they do have, and I don't agree with that. No. So for exportation, that I don't agree with that at all. No.
But you do realise that the free range industry is also the meat industry. Well, it's not a free range industry, but like so you said you're a huge carnivore, so I'm assuming you eat animals, right?
Yes, I do, and I
Okay.
don't
So
always like it. So like well, you're
So-
saying something.
sorry, Zhang. So where do you get their flesh from?
I get it from free range farms.
Right. So that is still the meat industry.
Yeah, I know it's not like I know they get killed. Obviously, I don't think they'll be just like they just the meat just falls off, but like they're not like tortured for life.
Yeah. I mean, sorry. I'm just trying to understand what you mean by
Yeah, I know it's
meat
complicated.
industry because you support the meat industry, but then you said you're against it.
Against on how they are like when there's animals that are literally locked away for ages. That's what I mean by I don't support that.
Okay, so you mean like factory farming?
I kind of support in manner of speaking because I eat it is when obviously when they kill the animal or like when it's been outside a lot, but like when it's been inside a tight pen for the last I don't know 6 to how much you said 18 months I think you said earlier like it's been like there for its whole life then. No, I do not agree with that at all, and that should not be that should not exist. But I do agree with in the manner of speaking that they go to a place, they die, and then they become.
Okay, so would I be correct in assuming that you're okay with exploitation if the animals aren't factory farmed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And do you think that we should respect other animals?
obviously, yeah, I don't think we should be treating them like nothing because they are alive. They do have pain and they do feel things, but I wouldn't say treating them like I'm trying to make this as plain because I don't know how to word it properly. But I wouldn't treat them terribly. I wouldn't treat them anywhere worse than I want to treat another person. But I wouldn't treat them like an actual person. Like I wouldn't have one eating at my dinner
Yeah.
table, and I wouldn't have one eating.
Okay. Yeah. So when I
Yeah.
say respect, I mean just like consider their interests and what they want. I don't mean give them the same rights as human beings. I just
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
yeah, consider. Do you think that we should consider their interests?
Yeah. Yes, for the most part, most definitely yes.
Okay.
Because they, like I said, they are alive. They're not as intelligent as us. They don't think the same way we do.
Yeah.
But they are alive. They do feel pain. They do still have fear. So obviously, I wouldn't would want them to be treated as best as possible.
Yeah. So, do you think that it's possible to truly respect them if we are exploiting them for their flesh, eggs, breast milk, or using them for any other purpose, regardless of whether they're on a factory farm or a free range farm?
I would really, in a perfect world, yes, and I really hope we do come to a part where we do respect them better. Because this is for two reasons. I don't drink milk. I don't like milk, and I don't think. And again, the milk industry, I can't. I think animals who are generally raped for their milk. I think that is all SA. I generally
Yeah.
think they are. That is also awful, and I don't drink it because one, I don't really like it, and two, because I don't want to support it. But
Well, do you consume cheese or dairy chocolate or like any crisps with milk powder or any?
I don't really know crisps had milk powder. I'm gonna be honest, but I don't really like. I don't eat chocolate because I don't. I try to watch what I eat when it's insane.
Yeah, cheese and
And
onion crisps do, and yeah, there's
well, I don't like those. That's a good thing. I do not like those.
yeah,
But
or ice cream or yogurt.
I rarely eat ice cream, but I do eat I do ghostly eat ice cream during its hot.
Yeah.
I will eat
Okay.
relentlessly.
Okay. So yeah, you do consume dairy, even though you're opposed to that.
Yeah, I will
okay.
make it clear rarely, but yeah, that is you've proven me wrong. Yeah, I do eat dairy or drink dairy.
Okay. Yeah. So you said that we should consider the animals' interests.
Yeah, for the most part, yeah, honestly, yeah.
What do you mean by
It's
for the most part? Like,
well, because like I said, they're not as intelligent than us, and when I say respect their rights and respect because obviously I don't think they should be the way they're transported. For example, I don't think they would like that personally. I'm not. I don't know how we could do that better. I'm not saying I know I have the answer because I don't.
mhm.
But the way that they pour animals into extremely tight containers, even when they are like free range, they do get put in tight containers and they are transported to the slaughterhouse. But I would wish that would be better. I do wish that. I also do wish that probably being put into the meat industry, it's not like a quick night out. It's through a scary room and probably I don't know what it looks like, but I'm sure it probably is.
Yeah.
But so in my perfect world, I think that animals obviously should be, free range. They live around, they grow up with their mothers, and then when they are ready to be slaughtered, they just hopefully just be taken out painlessly. Unfortunately, that isn't
Yeah.
how they
But
always
the
are
thing
done.
is, do you acknowledge that we don't need to do this to them at all?
I absolutely do in a way, but I also do know I'm not trying to counter argue or anything like that or or like what's the word? Just irritate you or anything like that. But I do know that not this country, not England, for example, but the world as a whole is in a food shortage, right?
Okay.
Like there's thousands and millions of people. Not saying you, me, or the person next door to me are starving, but there are people that are starving.
Yeah.
And because some things they generally can't grow. Some countries can't grow. My family is from a country where things can't always grow properly. Farms are always under threat on global warming, climate change, and
Yeah.
people die. So of course, like rarely, if you have a just think about it logically. Not saying that you should always think this way, but your crop are dying, and all this stuff can be eaten by, for example, this cow over here. And if the cow eats it, it'll get fatter. It'll still live outside, and eventually, when it slaughter it, you have a lot more food in the long run than you eating what's left of your crop, which didn't grow very well.
Right. Okay.
I'm not-
So
yeah, I'm not-
so
yeah, go on.
are you aware that so we could massively improve this problem of food shortage if the world went plant-based. Because, okay, so you're saying that there are certain areas that can't grow crops, right? But those areas, they still consume animals, but those animals have to eat something which has to grow, right? So they're either consuming them in those areas or the crops are being imported, and the animals tend to require more crops than we do anyway. So we could massively reduce our land use and also improve food security by increasing more local land in our own areas by not consuming other animals. And we could essentially like end world hunger if we all went plant-based, because yeah, the reason that there are, you know, you're right in saying that there's a lot of people who are, you know, starving. They're in food shortage at the moment, because the food system that we currently have, it's not sustainable, because we're growing all of these crops to feed animals and we're losing calories in the process. So when we so for example, we take all of these calories, feed the cow, and then get a lot less back after we've slaughtered the cow. So your argument of food shortage is an argument in favor of veganism.
Okay.
I would say, but yeah, I mean, you say, I think you said that we should show animals the best respect or treat them in the best possible way, but surely the logical conclusion then would be to be vegan, because that is the best alternative, that is the best sort of situation for them, is to not exploit them at all.
Yeah, I do agree. I do agree what you mean by that. I see where you're coming from, but like, I don't know if this makes a lot of sense. I want to make that very clear. But like, you know, we know when you let's say humans didn't exist and we have a wild life, everything's free roaming, right? So, but of course, there's always a, not saying that we are as this, but we are both this and vegetarians. I don't know what the word is, but like, obviously a wolf will go after the sheep, and then that's how the wolf would survive. Not saying that's all we need to do to survive, but humans are made to eat both meat and veg. Not saying that we can live with only meat or live with only veg. We can live with both, or one or the other. But of course, in your, I just want to know your opinion here. I'm not disrespecting you at all, but like do you think a wolf eating a sheep, for example, is that wolf doing something wrong? I just want to get that.
Yeah, so in the eyes of the sheep, then yes, but obviously, unlike the wolf, we have moral agency, so we know better. We know right from wrong, and also, you know, a wolf is in a survival situation. They're in nature. They just eat whatever or whoever they need to survive. They eat any kind of food source, whereas we have, I think we should be held to a higher standard than a wolf, because we have other alternatives. We have supermarkets, and yeah, like I said, we have moral agency, so we have the ability to question our actions and decide what's right and wrong. So yeah, I think if the wolf had an alternative and they understood that the sheep wanted to live just as much as they did, and they didn't want to be exploited or harmed, then yeah, I would say the same thing to them.
Okay, I will like that.
Yeah. But I mean, I have to wrap up in a minute, Zhang. So I'm just going to ask the other guys on the panel if they have any other questions.
Yeah, Zhang, I noticed that you kept talking about this appealing to like free range. I don't agree that free range necessarily improves any conditions. You can fantasize that it does, and it almost sounded like the other story was just an exaggerated story about a sheep and a wolf. This is like real life consequences we're talking about. And you can live healthy and fine on a plant-based diet. There's no doubt about it. It's just you got to change your framework. It feels like you've been told this idea that you have to eat animals, or you have to have some sort of this or that, but it's just not the case. We can live without eating animals. You agree what we do is wrong. There's no scale on what's wrong or right. It's either wrong or right. And so at the end of the day, we don't have to do this. So I would ask you to look within yourself to say, hey, maybe I should really actually look into this, because you see the panelists here, we're all vegan, we're all fine, and we all don't choose to exploit others for our benefit.
Okay. No, I will definitely. I got a question real quick, but I just want to know what your opinions on this real quick. So
Yeah.
going again, this is back to free range again, but like so not all farms do this. I think most farms do pay someone to take their animals to the slaughterhouse. That is very true, but some farms obviously do slaughter them on hand, and what they do is
Most
they,
don't.
I know,
Most
I know, I
don't.
know most don't, but the ones that do, they of course they have them. I know they have them. They have a little bolt gun.
Yeah.
And of course, it's painlessly.
It's not painlessly. There's nothing that could be painlessly. What they do is they stun them sometimes, and often the ones that do it themselves are doing it without anesthesia or anything like that.
Okay.
Because you can't really use that, and most of them don't have the methods to use so-called government stunning techniques. Stunning is only for the workers not to get hurt. That's why they stun animals. There's this misconception about stunning and how it it simplifies the process, and maybe it can to a degree, but it's more or less so that workers don't get hurt because they gotta worry about the animals freaking out.
Okay.
Yeah, may I add something too? Like there is no good way to do bad thing. Like you're talking about making someone unalive, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, so I'm going to give you examples, and like I really curious about your answer about it.
Kale,
So do you
before
know
you go,
Jeffrey Dahmer?
sorry, Kale, before you go, Jem's got a hard stop at 10. Just letting you know, so if you make it quick.
Yeah. It's fine. We can wrap up. I just
Okay.
Okay, so really quick then. Do you know Jeffrey Dahmer? The serial.
I'm very much aware of Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah.
Yeah, serial human unaliver, right?
Yeah.
So he had the victims, right? 17 victims, and most of them he basically give some kind of drugs, right?
Yeah.
And they didn't felt anything. They just slept, and they never again woke up. You know?
Yeah.
They felt nothing basically. Is it good thing?
No, but I would definitely say no, it's definitely not a good thing, but also would argue the fact that it's better than, for example, having them away. Not saying it makes it any better. Not saying it's any better, but if I was to be... I don't know if this argument makes any sense, and it probably doesn't.
Yeah, but would you like to trade the places with these victims?
No, I would not.
Okay, so if it's not, you should act on that morality, right? Like you shouldn't do that to the others. If your answer is no, you should think about it. So yeah, that's all. That's what I
That's a
wanted
good
to
point.
add.
I'm giving you credit. That is a good point.
Yeah. If it's not good enough for you, then why is it good enough for them, basically? But yeah, I agree with what David and Kale said. Yeah, I think that free range is marketing. Yeah, I'm also not convinced that it does anything for the welfare of the animals, because to them they're in a situation that they don't want to be in. They don't know that it could be worse. They're not thinking, oh well, I'm in this field, I'm being exploited for my flesh, but at least I'm not in a cage, because they don't know any different. So to them, they're still suffering. It's still a situation that's bad for them. But yeah, I would just wrap up by encouraging you, Zhang, to check out my resources. I have a link here. You can't see it all because of the panel, but it's on my bio.
You have one last question.
Yeah, if you make it quick.
Yeah, it's a very quick one. It's like,
Yeah.
because I don't have all my facts on it either, but like I think I do know that when sheep, have like a wool, it can be dangerous when they get too thick of a wool. And you said something how about you can't take wool from sheep either. So again, you can correct me because I don't know if I'm right. But when sheep obviously have their wool removed to help them out, so they don't overheat or I don't know, have some kind of illnesses or something, is that still exporting even though we use the wool, but we do
No,
it to
no,
help them?
because it's in their interest. So when I say exploitation, I mean using them in a way that goes against their interest. Obviously, sheep have
Okay.
been bred to, overproduce the amount of wool, so it wouldn't be in their interest to have them keep growing it. If we rescue them, I don't think we should use that wool for ourselves because that would be exploiting them. But yeah, I think we should take care of them and look after the body that we've bred them to be born into. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So
All right.
I'll let you guys head off, and I will be honest with you. I don't think it'll make me go 100% vegan, but it'll definitely make me eat less. I'll say that much. Eat less and try more vegan foods because I haven't tried a lot.
Can I just add something super quickly?
Go ahead.
Zhang, you earlier, as they said, I agree also that free range is marketing. The situation the animals are in really depends on every particular situation itself and every country, because every country has got different version of free range. But said that, earlier you said, at some point you said that the animals feel pain and fear.
Yeah.
Is that not for you enough to stop exploiting them? I mean, if you were in that position and you felt pain and fear, would you want your oppressor to stop doing what he's doing to you?
Obviously, if I was in that situation, obviously I would want him to stop. And there's no way I can word it without me sounding like an evil person. So I'm just gonna. I don't know how to word it. You've got me. That's what I'm saying. You've got me with my hands up.
Yeah. So that should tell you already what position you want to stay and what side you want to take, what side of the story you want to be. What kind of person are you in front of an injustice? You have a choice, and you can stop exploiting someone for pleasure. So what side would you want to be? Would you want to be to keep oppressing them, or you want to be on the right side? It's up to you. It's entirely up to you. It's your decision.
Okay.
Just think about that, because every time, every second, every minute, every hour, every day, every week, you're not vegan, you keep gonna exploiting them for no reason, basically.
Yeah. Okay. So I do have to wrap up now. So I'm just gonna drop you, Zhang. I appreciate you coming up though.
Yeah, fine.
And I would encourage you to check out my resources. Also, apologies to anybody that I haven't managed to get around to. I do go live every Tuesday, so if we've not yet spoken, I'll be back next week. I think if you follow me, maybe you'll get like a notification or something, but I'm not 100%. And yeah, thank you to all the panel members and Chip who's gone as well. Yeah, everybody who's up, and yeah, you're all awesome. So I'd encourage everyone to give David, Altano, I hope I've said that right, by the way, and Kale a follow. And yeah, it's been good.
Thanks, Jem. Appreciate it. Hope everyone will subscribe, join the channel membership, all the things. Support Jem. Appreciate it, Jem.
Yeah, thanks. Take care. See you later.
Awesome. All right.
Thank you, Jen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right. See you later. Right, and that is a wrap. I don't know why, but my phone seems to have it's gone like dark, so I can hardly see it. But it's still bright on here. I don't think it's gone darker. So yeah, I'm going to keep this short because I get in trouble if I go much over 10. Because yeah, I share this space, and yeah, I need to be respectful to the other person that lives here. But yeah, thank you to everybody who stuck around on YouTube. I hope it's been entertaining, good. I don't know, and I appreciate as well. I think I had a donation that Hannah sent her Haju. Apologies if I've not said that right, but yeah, I really appreciate that. And Marcus and Salad Fogil as well, who sent the gift memberships. Yeah, thank you so much for your support. It does not go unnoticed. And yeah, I really do appreciate it. Yeah, so it was great to catch up with you all. I'm gonna try and do more shorts as well. So yeah, if there's a particular conversation you think is interesting and you want to see me make a short, then just say. I do see all you guys' messages. But yeah, you're all awesome. I appreciate you. And but yeah, I'm gonna duck out and keep it quick. So yeah, good to see you all.